What's up, everybody, and welcome back to King of the Ring, the show where we take a couple of your favorite PPL pros and pit them together, 1 versus 1, on a couple champions that fit into their role. Today we got a great one for you. We have Simsalou from the Pittsburgh Knights going toe-to-toe against Freeze God, of course, from SSG. We got him 1-to-1 in a Eevee 1v1, first to 6 kills on Frog Isle. No items, no ultimates, as is standard. Then a little bit of a similar matchup, not quite as memey this time, a Mave 1 versus 1 on a different team deathmatch map. That one also to 6 kills. Let's jump right down to Gore and get it started.
All right, and we're down here in the ring. We've got our 2 players for the day ready to go on the one side, on this side of the ring. We've got Freeze God coming through. Do you have anything that's kind of going through your mind as you're going to be going up against Simsalou?
I just have one thing. I'm going to destroy him.
It's going to destroy him. Now, Simsalou is already making a face over here. Maybe some fighting words from your opponent. Do you have anything that you'd say in retaliation?
I'm not an Eevee player.
Excuses already coming out from Simsalou. I don't know how this one's going to go. As you can guess from what he said, it's an Eevee 1v1, no items, no ults. Gentlemen, go ahead, come to the center of the ring, touch keyboards. Let's have a good, clean fight.
There.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Ding, 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 ding.
Can you do that for like 5 minutes straight?
Let's get ready to rumble.
Oh
So you have like the time skip?
Eevee 1v1 loadout. What do you guys got?
I mean, you can use like the normal one.
Yeah, I mean, do you use double ammo region?
I'm using this one.
Oh, yeah,
Teleport 5, Flicker 5.
Swift, wait, so 5-5,
Situate.
Swift 3, Biting Cold, and Cantrip 1? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the exact same loadout.
Hey!
Easy, boys.
All right. They're good with that.
Wow, that was the fastest loadout
yeah.
setup I think ever.
You want to do Frog? I don't mind doing Frog.
We can do Frog.
like,
Yeah.
you know.
Let's do
Frog it is.
Frog tends to be the map you 1v1 on because for a very long time.
Kill count.
Trivia with Simsalou.
First to 7, because there's a little bit of distance from both of the bases to get back in towards the middle. Does 7 make sense, or
Well,
more or less?
we have like best of 10, but the first one to 6.
That's fine. First to 6 then?
6? Okay.
Okay.
First to 6 it is.
Anyways, back to fun fact with Simsalou. Frog was the only
there's
map
spec.
you had to return to lobby. So we always 1v1 on this map.
Noted. That is a fun fact with Simsalou.
All right.
He's already taken notes.
Halloween.
Gotta try hard.
He licks the tip. Just to make sure.
Gore. Whoa! Gore Miser. It's a family show.
Same talents?
Oh yeah, are we doing wormhole? I
Oh,
assume?
yeah.
wormhole.
obviously.
Yeah.
No snow globe? I guess it wouldn't make sense with no ultimates.
no
Alrighty. What notes you taking over there, Simsalou? My ego is massive. Oh no. Freeze, you gotta beat him just for us.
Wait,
because my
you want me
god.
to show it? It's not gonna be visible, really. Here it is. Wow.
Hey, you got 10 seconds, by the
Oh
way.
yeah.
Waste your cooldowns now if you want to.
Don't worry, Blink is on a 4-second cooldown.
How you feeling over there, Freeze? Good?
Yeah, feeling good.
Alright, good.
Pretty easy.
The hand, oh, easy, he says.
Ooh.
The hand is limber. Alrighty, first to 6 kills.
I feel bad for you. Any flicks, they're coming right at your chest.
That's true.
Well, Sins, stop hiding, man.
Tim's still
Simsalou
mounted.
already, yeah, still mounted on the horse. Oh, there's the shot. Oh god. A little bit of chunk damage.
Woo! Watching these
Fancy
shots
feet.
live.
Yeah, I know. I can't even keep up. There's ice block for both, though.
Everyone else who has played this game has played 2D chess. This is 4D chess.
I guess with no kills on top, we're just gonna have to be a good reminder. Ooh, he's got him chunked down. Oh, he missed the blink. One more out of the ice block.
Oh, that
All
was
right, I gotta watch the opposite screen.
lag.
Laggy says. All right, 1-0 to Freeze.
Only got 1,800 health to burst through.
That's true.
Well,
God, that's nuts. The ice block, the proper use of cooldowns is so important. I mean, I guess Torvald was the same, but for a different. It wasn't as fun. Torvald was just auto attacks. Oh, good shot. Nearly. Oh!
Movement during
What a
sword.
shot.
Insane.
That was nuts.
That was not healthy.
He pumps the fist a little bit. All right, 1-1.
See, look, taking notes, it's paying off already.
My ego is massive.
Honestly, it works in every situation. When you play against Navi, you just gotta be confident, even though when you lose. But it's the part being confident that is very important.
We got him zoned out.
They got the game face on.
These are tense.
God.
You're trying to predict. Oh, I didn't see that blink over coming at all.
I don't know, you know, we're obviously keeping track of the count.
Yeah, it's 1-1. 1-1.
But technically, I'm going to throw it out that Sims is winning.
Sims
with
is
that
winning because he
3%.
has 3% on the point.
Well, I accidentally capped a little bit. Oops.
One of these days, someone's going to
Nice
have
shot.
to push.
Oh, good shot, Simsy.
Nice shot.
All right, 2-1.
I don't know
Sims lows
how
up.
you blinked in front of me. That shot on my screen actually like made the particle effects when it exploded didn't do damage to me. I was kind of confused about that.
Simslow's got 3% on the point, 2 kills.
Honestly, I feel like the 3% is making everything got a little
I
bit
think it might.
nervous.
It might. God, this is.
There's so many good shots. This is like mind-blowingly good.
Oh, he just needs one more. He's down to 847. Oh, good blink.
Oh,
All right, we're tied at 2.
Jesus.
Oh, they're neck and neck.
Dad, do you use ult MC?
I'm feeling it.
There's an
think that
well, you got
requires a
3%. He gets to use his ult. I think that's only fair.
Now he has 3% on his ult. See?
That's
The numbers tie up.
That's right.
Everything checks out here.
All right, first tiebreaker. Well, I guess second. Tied at 2. Any credits for durable? Oh, that was risky, Simslu. I don't even want to talk. This is too.
Jesus, I can't concentrate.
I was gonna say I don't know how Sims is feeling. I'm clinched for him right now.
The closest one yet, for
Oh.
sure.
Lag.
Oh, no.
Lag.
Lag, he
I
says.
was really hoping I was gonna look over at his screen and he was falling off the map.
That would have been nice,
Just
wouldn't it?
hear him saying lag, lag, and then look over and it's just Evie plummeting to her death.
Bro, my blinks today. Yikers.
Hot yikers.
Ooh. Yeah, this is like half trying to predict, half trying to make them predict. Good ice block. Still tied at 2, by the way.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is 40 chess.
Jeez, this is getting hit shots.
It's almost mesmerizing. It's
Oh.
very difficult to mention.
Oh.
Oh god.
Oh, finally, the tie is broken. That was 2 minutes, a minute and a half of game time.
Good thing we didn't do best to 10.
Yeah,
Maybe
right.
Best to 10 kills.
All right, Freeze at 3, Sims at 2. First to 6.
Keep a count on my fingers.
Good call. This is like a study in human brain power. I can't imagine reacting this fast to anything in my
Right?
life.
I can't even imagine like
Oh,
so
that's a
projectile ground like so air-to-air shots blinking back and forth with soar cooldowns like it's
yeah, hard no for me.
20,000 IQ going on right here.
Have the high ground advantage.
Don't try it, Anakin. Ooh.
Oh, that is bad.
Got him turned around a little bit.
Those
It's
close.
an ad for mechanical
That was
keyboards.
very
We need
close,
to, yeah,
actually.
right, Queeby Black. We need to give
Oh, one last shot. Good hit. I almost don't want to talk in between kills because this dude focused. Was
it
it?
feels like any word you say is
Right,
gonna like
right.
it's gonna ruin a blink or something. It's gonna like there's too much.
Was it 4-2?
Or 2.
Yeah.
All right,
for 2.
Freeze only needs 2 more.
Yeah, I just walked into that.
Oh,
I just
no.
walked into that as well.
Oh.
What?
Oh! Oh, God! Alrighty.
Sorry about that, man.
Oh,
Sorry
That
no.
about
one was
that.
full on calculated. Wow.
Alrighty. 1 more. 5-2. Ego shrinking by the second.
Simsy's like, no, don't worry, I got you on round 2.
Okay. Okay.
Pitches the okay. Okay. Sneaky ice blocks that are just gonna
I know.
come in at the last second.
Shot. Freeze at 5, right?
Yeah, 5-2. One more kill does it for Freeze. Sims just needs to
Oh,
stay
good
alive.
shot.
Nice shot, nice shot.
All right.
I feel so
5-3
bad.
to-
You're saying nice shot, and I haven't said a single nice shot to you.
He's humble in victory.
I'm trying to like concentrate, and I forget to like say it, and I'm used to being like, bro, I look so toxic.
5-3.
A reveal into the Knights behind the scenes. Simsy so toxic to his teammates.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they think about me like that.
We need the old reverse sweeperoo here. Nice. 5-4.
Yeah, it's getting closer and
We're up,
closer.
bro.
Shaking?
Ooh.
1 kill from winning, 1 kill from tying it up. Ults charged, not usable, but they're there.
The ultimate BM dropped the ult for the winning kill.
Oof.
Good prediction. Splash
Oh
damage.
wow, that actually hit them. Well, that's not good.
Oh.
And that's the
That's
winner.
the winner.
baby.
Wee 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 wee.
Oh.
Ding 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 ding.
I've learned one important thing from this.
Yeah?
I never want to play Eevee against either of these guys.
Yeah, what's Fawn saying? His punishment for not getting diamond is 1v1ing a pro? No
Yeah.
no chance.
And it was until he gets a kill. I want to see Fawn versus Freezer, Fawn Simsy, or Fawn Fish, some Fawn Blaster on Eevee.
Willow, they said.
FC God, if there's some things we have to agree to as blasters, Willow, no. Okay?
Yeah, Willow.
Yeah, no Willow.
Nah,
No more.
Willow.
They don't want to play
Please.
anymore. It just leaves a bad. Even if you win, it's a bad feeling.
I feel like every time we get to pick Willow, like we should be like, yes, we can finally play another blaster. But in reality, I feel like most people it's like, God's sake, this goddamn champion, I don't want to play him anymore.
Bomb kill.
Maeve it is. Do you need different loadouts for Maeve or just using standard?
I think we're using very different loadouts actually.
Yeah, we can use the same for the 1v1.
Right, you would use the same loadout, but one that's already made, or do you want to build a
We
new one
probably should
together?
use the one that requires more like, it's kind of like more inputs like an Eevee, and that would be more DR. I run more HP, so.
I mean, you can import your loadout or whatever.
I mean, what do you run, Freezer Boys? Do you run the?
I mean,
DR
I have
setup?
2 different loadouts when I play with Genos and without.
Well, we're not gonna have you on it.
Yeah.
So
So
I
with
play this one with the sustain.
6 Sense 5, Featherlight 4. That's
Yeah,
immediately
so
something that
he
disappears.
runs Street Cred 2 then, right?
Street Kid 1. Walk it off 3.
Oh, he runs 1?
you can meet in the middle somewhere
Damn,
if you
you're
want.
crazy, RC. You're running 1 on HP,
That's how confident he is. He doesn't need any
and
HP.
then he chase 2.
I mean, or we can just take off the damage reduction.
Wait.
And on other things.
What level
I
do
don't
you
know.
have you walk it off? Is it 3?
3.
3.
That is very different from my loadout.
Sims is just having a deep dive in.
Yeah. I mean, most people either run like max HP or they run like DR and F, and then they use kind of like prop F to dodge like or negate like an Eevee shot,
Yeah.
or you run HP to just not get screwed over by hit scan. Do you mind if we do walk it off 2 and chase 3? I'm kind of like a little bit too used to chase 3.
Okay.
What was that?
Sims,
Speed the same one?
Prowl.
6 Sense 5, Featherlight 4, Chase 3, Walking Off 2, Street Cred 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be more fun running this as well.
Sims are all over the place, but if you look at Freeze God, it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's the perfect count.
3, 1, 5, 4, 2.
Because I like
nice.
having Sex Sense in the middle. It looks imitating, you know, having it in the middle.
Right, of course.
Sims is an area code.
All right.
Wait, when I say that, I just noticed this. This is a great mistake. I have Sex Sense on the more on the left side.
Oh,
instead of
no.
the middle.
That one, oh no.
Yeah.
Good thing I never used that. So you said Dragon's Arena, or
Dragon Arena.
Dragon Arena might be pretty good for this one.
Sure.
I can't remember the layout of it.
Okay.
yeah, let's do Dragon's
For-
Arena.
for-
I've never played on it, so it'd be like a learning experience.
Yeah. I never played this.
Yeah. My ego is massive. Let's get an update on the notes here for the second game. Gormizer, what skin do you want SimCity to use?
Let's do Christmas. Do you got Christmas?
You don't
Negative.
have everything unlocked?
Oh,
Use
no.
a skin booster for
I
your
don't
team, yeah?
have- So I figured out by calculating all the risk factors
Yeah.
in that EV game,
Mhm.
it was pretty unlucky.
Eevee was pretty unlucky.
Eevee was pretty unlucky. Oh, no.
You know what?
What,
oh, wait,
We're
follow us.
starting
That's right.
already? Jesus!
So what?
Here we go. Final 1v1 of the day. Simsaloo looking to bounce back. He's got riding high after game 1. All right, first to 6. We got the score up top this time. I guess you gotta watch. You gotta be careful. And blink behind you. Is it Shattered Desert with this big roundabout? Ooh.
It's all an arena.
Oh.
Some good daggers.
One more vomit does it.
We're gonna wait for cooldowns or
You have to wait a long time?
no? Just 5 seconds.
Because I feel like we're gonna get close to each other anyway, so it wouldn't be too bad.
I'm good
I guess we can wait a little bit. Because
I'm
9
good
lines
right
can be fucking long as hell, so.
Yeah.
Alright.
Actually, you know, playing Maeve on this as well, with like the double jump, you've got the boost speed. This is
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah.
about as close to like a
What the hell just
90s
happened? You
land
just stopped
1v1.
midair. Oh, that killer, dude.
Ooh.
Killer's OP.
One more either. Oh god. He's gonna pee. He's gonna watch the teleporters.
I don't know what to teleport.
Yeah, I don't know where they are.
Always so close.
I know. Oh, one more.
Oh, no.
Oh god. Oh! Good
I
prediction.
missed close shot.
1-1. This one's close.
I don't think we need to wait for coins too long because I kind of have my CDs already. But I guess we could just wait a little bit so we have both CDs.
Boom, everyone's
Okay.
up.
Alright.
Good.
Yeah.
Ding, ding. Back in the ring.
There we
Yeah,
go.
I
That's what we
wanna
need with
try
those
this.
big official
Oh,
bells.
Don't shoot me. I wanted to go on launchpad.
Dude, those things are loud.
Yeah. Oh.
This is awkward.
That's awkward. I got hit.
Oh. Oh!
There he gets his healing. Those are gutsy moments, dodging back and forth between the daggers.
What is this?
I have no idea what that middle thing does.
Ah, that's the thing that charges up your ult.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's
Ooh. Nice.
I was
Freeze
like
God.
curious about it. I was like, I want to get it. I want to grab it. I want to see what it is. And I get
Freeze is like-
RC is shooting me. I'm like, that is unfair.
See his big. God, Simsaloo with the excuses today. What is going on?
if I keep
This
throwing
is-
daggers,
this is
eventually
No, I'm kidding.
All right, I'm ready.
You got to kill.
Yeah, I'm
Down
ready.
one.
these are the comps for the PPL games too.
Right.
He's just like, there was just something in the middle. I wanted to go see what it was.
I actually said that once.
Yes, that's the point, Simsaloo.
Okay, that was awkward.
Wins the first trade.
Something was happening on the side. Yeah, G-Bunny was shooting people.
I was curious what G Bunny was doing, so I had to just walk up to him.
Good shots. There you are.
Oof.
Nice. Dang, this one's close.
Going back and forth. And honestly,
2-2.
it feels like whoever like doesn't have like that extra jump ready for when that last volley of
Yeah.
daggers comes through. Like as you're falling from the sky, you're like, oh well, this is it.
All right. I'm I'm waiting 5 seconds.
Okay.
You see him in the
Actually, your
distance.
cooldowns are almost exactly
Yeah.
the
Is
same.
it? Alright, I'm
Yeah,
ready.
there you go.
Good, let's go.
Whoa!
Right into the wall.
Uh-oh. You take the boost.
Oh, God.
Wowzers. Going for the shots now. These arcing at the
Ooh.
same time.
Nice.
Close.
That was very close.
One more.
I'm waiting for someone to hit like this cross map dagger. Like it just goes up, arcs perfectly.
It would be funny
slams
if we
into
actually
someone.
had Pip and we had like an auto that just like went up in the air and it actually like fell down, killed somebody. I'm ready.
All right.
Let's go.
3-2 freeze. Needs 3 more.
Where's the...
That's he sees the bright glowing orb. I don't know where I am.
I can't...
There he is.
I can't take this seriously. It looks so spoofy. Spoofy? Yeah, that's a new word,
It's like the Mothman meme. Just sees the bright lamp and
Has to go to
has to go to it, right?
He sees a teleporter. Has to take the teleporter.
Ooh,
This one's so intricate.
nice.
Pounds there.
Last minute dash.
Yeah.
4-2 now. Uh-oh. Simslow came back though in the EV 1v1.
Did I?
Well, you didn't win, but you were down 5-2 and made it 5-4.
I did lag.
That right. He had the land lag.
Alright, I'm ready.
The land lag in the 1v1. Hate
6
to see it.
1v1. Oh god.
Seeing the difference between like where the daggers, since they're both thrown like separately, having like
Yeah.
one go maybe too high and the other one smack them in the face.
These TDM maps are fun. Oh, good dash. Oh, good turnaround. There it is.
Bro, this is too close. I'm like
Even
trying to adapt
4-3.
this like F like usage as well.
Yeah, right.
The
All right.
TDM also gives you
4-3.
the other one. It has a ringer. There's 4 minutes left.
Alright, I'm ready.
Oh, that's right.
Get the 2 more kills or 3 more.
I guess it's whoever's winning by the time the time runs out, or
Or we have to
6.
reload.
could be a good engagement. Last minute, Simslow's down, needs to run forward. Not right now, of course. Ooh, aggressive.
Oh, that is bad. Bad news, Bears.
Ooh.
One more. No! That was close. You nearly.
I'm choking so badly, I can't breathe.
5-3. One more for freeze.
Alright,
Game
this is
points.
gonna be full int mode. this is the G Bunny speciality.
Let's see.
Not even here to defend himself.
Oh, he's here actually.
He's in
Oh yeah, that's right. He's in the
breaker.
lobby. There you go.
Right. When it okay. Greetings.
Everyone kind of avoids the buff in the middle.
Absolute picked it up once.
Did I?
I think you did. No, that was the teleporter you took. One more kill for freeze. Oh,
Ooh,
the
one-
return daggers are big. One more volley does it.
Oh.
Ding, 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 ding.
Came through.
That was unlucky.
That was
Unlucky, says Simsaloo. They were close though.
all right. Well, gentlemen, we came through. We had Eevee, we had Maeve, and Freeze. You were able to take both of them. Maeve was a little more of a discrepancy between when you win and when, well, I guess where Simsaloo was in his score. Eevee got a little closer towards the end there. How'd you feel through this?
I mean, I told you guys. I was gonna destroy him. No, just kidding. I mean, Sinsulu is a pretty good player. I knew it was gonna be a hard one, but I won.
You still won, and that's what he's got. Simsy walking away, but you came through. I think the phrase you like to use was unlucky. How are you feeling after this one?
Sad.
Crying on the inside.
My nose didn't help. Like, I thought saying my ego was massive would help me today, but it didn't really help me. I don't know how I should feel about that.
Well, you actually, you came here. Maybe it was off. Maybe your ride was a little rough. Maybe that's kind of what caused some trouble. I mean, I heard some maybe bad news about your Uber driver.
Yeah. Shout out to my Uber driver G Bunny from today. You made me not eat breakfast. That's my excuse.
There it is. I mean, no breakfast. Genuine lack of food to fuel this man in this 1v1. Still able to keep it kind of close in the EV1. A little less close there on Maeve. Likes the teleporters. Likes to win. Either way, let's send it back up to Dave.
Thank you very much, Goremizer, and I told you it would be a good one, and it certainly was. Congrats to FreezeGod for taking both the Eevee and the Maeve. One maybe a little bit more convincing than the other, and apologies to Simsalu's ego. I'm sure it'll recover in time for HRX, an event where I imagine both of these teams will be competing, and this is a matchup that we'll probably see on the main stage. I would not be surprised to see that at all. Make sure to go online to highresexpo.com to grab your tickets, because that matchup maybe for some higher stakes. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much, Goremizer, and welcome.
live from Atlanta. The players are here. The stage is set. Let's get down for esports!
This is where we also talk about the new stuff. that we've got coming out for you all.
HRX is literally my favorite time of year. It truly isn't close. This is what I live for.
If that's second place, I can't wait to see what first place is.
It's HRX.
What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday, and welcome back to the Paladins Premier League. I'm Dolson, and we got 3 great sets for you today. A 5-set week, 3 today, 2 tomorrow. Joining me to start off the day, though, is Kresnik. How you feeling today?
Pretty good. I'm excited. I always love these triple header days because we get some. I get more gameplay in general, and the sets today should be pretty good. I mean, SSG with another double header because of the travel delays initially, but Envy and Kanga are 2 opponents that I think they have a good shot against.
I think that, yeah, I mean, you're right. Every team that's playing today, whether it's SSG, Envy, Knights, maybe less so Na'Vi, but Kanga, they all have something, I think, to prove, whether they've been on a hot streak. Envy, maybe they're peaking at the right time. Kanga, despite, relatively even win-loss over the last couple of weeks, has shown that maybe they're starting to hit their stride. So lots of storylines to follow today for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Kanga's that team that can always take a map off of anyone, and SSG battling back and forth. They have to kind of fight their way back up. I mean, they have a chance, I think, to end up even today from the standings if they do get both wins.
Well, let's check out the standings and see how things could maybe flip-flop around. Of course, Na'Vi up top in first place. That 5-6 slot there, Spacestation and Kanga. 9 and 8 respectively, SSG with 2 matches today. So not the opportunity to jump over Virtus Pro in 4th, but able to inch a little bit closer. But Kanga respectively, if SSG only they don't win any of their games, Kanga can start to move a little bit further up. And then Knights, the best, I think, 7th team we have maybe in this league, looking to make some improvement as well.
This is actually a day with a lot of potential moving. I mean, Knights, I think, if SSG, I think, lose both, Knights could, I don't think Knights could overtake SSG, but they could in the next day, depending on the map score differential, depending on how SSG do. So huge potential, I think, back and forth. And I just wanted to mention it, how NIP have fallen down. I mean, that map differential has taken a huge hit in these last couple weeks.
I'm trying to remember what it was at like peak NIP in the beginning of the first split, but it was high, kind of double digits up in there.
Yeah.
Not quite the same, but our first matchup of the day, Envy and SSG. Looking over at SSG, of course, the conversation has been they came in a little bit late, they moved into the house, maybe there's some adaptation, some wind-up period that this team needs, and we've seen kind of both sides of that coin. After those first couple of games, they had a really great long 7-game set, nearly completing the reverse sweep, but then last week, a tough 0-4 loss. Where does this team stand? Who needs to step up for these guys?
I think, everyone on the team, they need to kind of step up synergy-wise, because I know they have some issues communications-wise. Sometimes, FRZ is a player who has stepped up a lot, I think, over time in the comms. I mean, this is something I think I would have more insight in than most people, but all of them have kind of taken that role at different times, being like kind of the person deciding the strats and deciding that. And FRZ, at peak play, when he's, absolutely popping off and moving in, he's also kind of commanding the pushes. That's something that not a lot of people know. I mean, he's going in and saying, like, all right, move the other side, go, 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 go. Or, vomp. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Specifically that, but he's really vocal in those crazy moments. And if the team is kind of lacking, I think he's definitely someone who can step up in that role and get the rest of the team kind of ready to move in, ready to push, and excited to win a match.
Well, he's 2-0 in King of the Ring matchup, so if nothing else, he got some warm-up yesterday. And you talk about flexibility. I mean, not only the Strix to the Kinessa, but Strix compared to his standard, whether it's Eevee, whether it's Maeve, any of those flank blaster type champions can also play the Strix, the direct damage, the Cassie, if need be. I know him and Ares. The Maeve Cassie composition is something that SSG really like. Do you expect a good performance out of SSG today? A tough week for them last week. Do you imagine this will be the asterisk is kind of the conversation I've had, the movement, the change in the team. Do you think that this is a refreshed, ready to go SSG?
They just got an internet upgrade in their house.
Sure.
They got their PCs. They're really grinding there. And I think it could be. I mean, we saw Kanga kind of make a big jump in the first phase from week 1 to week 2 once they got adjusted to the house. And now SSG, I think they might finally be hitting that stride of we're living here. We're getting used to it. And now we're finally comfortable with where we are in our practice.
Well, of course, on the opposite side, they're playing Envy. And this is the first time in the second split that these two teams have gone up against one another. 4-1 SSG in both of their Phase 1 sets. So this is not only the first time they've played, but Envy looking for the first win of this PPL series, of course, that they beat them in the Paladins World Championship in 2018. But that's all by the wayside. You're looking for a win here in the PPL. And you know, we talk about playmakers on any given team. Rock Monkey for Envy is certainly that.
Yeah, absolutely. His ability to just toe the line and not get caught out of position is, I think, a real strength for him.
Sure.
It might be tough against SSG with how they like to play, but if anyone can find that perfect balance, it's going to be Rock Monkey. We're going to have to see how these back lines, because a lot of them are kind of in the meta right now. He has so much flexibility he can kind of show. I mean, across snipers, across Shaolin, Cassie Leon, so much he can do. And this really is, I think, a great meta for strong backline players.
Where matchup-wise, if you look at, you know, kind of maybe where Envy can exploit some weakness in SSG and maybe flip-flop where SSG can maybe exploit some weaknesses in Envy, is there anything that maybe stands out to you?
It really depends on, honestly, what side of the map I think is going to be more aggressive, because I think Rock Monkey has the edge over Ares, and I think FRZ has the edge over Random.
Sure.
So it really depends on what fight, honestly, gets won first. Normally, I'd give that edge to the flankers because the backlines can play a little more careful, but I think if anyone can find that area to be aggressive and pressure out Ares, it would be Rock. He knows his position so well in that game.
And that's always something that we've kind of zoned in on with Envy is Random Noob is a fantastic player, but you get these kind of either baseline performances or he'll, you know, get huge triple kills, whatever it is, whatever champion he's playing. So to go up against FRZ today, that's a tall task for him and something that Envy will really need. Because I agree, I think Rock Monkey, you know, does have the edge maybe over Ares, but Random Noob really needs to bring up his game to go up against FRZ. Of course, map bans Frog Isle and Bright Marsh, and Ascension Peak and Timber Mill, both banned by the wayside. Interesting seeing Bright Marsh banned up.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised about the bans that that SSG do. I think they kind of were settling on like Ice Frozen. So now they're shifting it up and kind of leaving some open picks. But
all right,
we're going to Fish Market. Envy starting somewhere pretty comfortable, but I think it's a place that SSG have played pretty well in the past.
Does that surprise you at all to see Fish Market starting off for Envy?
Not really. Even after they took that loss on it, they still are very, very strong on this map. I mean, it won them Worlds.
Right?
You know,
that's
it
true.
really is a map. It's a map they like, and not a lot of other teams kind of fall back to. So it's a great comfort, I think, to start for them.
That's absolutely true. We on the back side of things, slight issues with the pick and ban overlay, but we'll walk you through what the teams are picking, what they are banning. Envy starts out with a con ban, so most notably that one is off the table. SSG answer back with an Atlas ban of their own. And, you know, the Willow conversation is something we have to look at.
Yeah.
Specifically with the Knights later today. I know that they really enjoy banning out Willow. Strix for Envy is their second ban. So Khan and Strix for Envy. Atlas for SSG. Looking for one more ban for them to set up their draft phase. And Makoa also banned out. So Atlas, Makoa gone. Khan and Strix both also gone. As we jump into the pick ban phase. Anything
Honestly,
jump out at you in the bans?
I'm going to say with Strix gone, I wouldn't even be shocked to not see Kinessa. I think just Strix so powerful on that able to be, you know, close range damage, long range damage, consistent. Kinessa struggles a little bit more when she gets dove, I think. So I wouldn't be surprised to not see the sniper even with that ban. First pick Barrack coming in for Envy. So strong point tank. I think definitely the best one on this map because of his ability to poke at range while getting objective capture, which Inara can't really do, but SSG are going to follow it up with an Inara Cassie pick. Cassie very consistent, and Inara, I guess, just to make sure that that Envy don't get the Inara Barrack and deny them, I think, the point tanks that they'd want on this map.
And Cassie also is a champion that's kind of become at the forefront of that direct damage conversation, and not surprising in my opinion to see SSG lock that one in. Ruckus Maeve for Envy, our picks 2 and 3 for them. Picking that into a Cassie, is that surprising at all?
A little bit, but on this map, I think it kind of makes up for it, just how much distance you can play. The Maeve, too, also gets scouted out. I think they just think they can take it to them aggressive. They can kind of cross a lot of distance and get onto that Cassie, not let Ares kind of shoot away in the back line. I know this is definitely already looking like an aggressive start for sure from Envy, and they're definitely going to set the pace with the Midnight. IO and Eevee for SSG, so that IO on Fish Market's so powerful because you don't need to worry about contesting the objective.
Yeah, true.
To me now, this seems like they're going to throw Luna on the point, and they're going to pocket the Inara with the speed boost, probably to run straight into Envy. This is two, so far, very aggressive compositions.
And Envy with Barrack, Ruckus, Maeve. We'll do a full recap just for everyone. Barrack, Ruckus, Maeve locked in for Envy. Inara, Cassie, IO, Eevee for SSG. So they've got their damage dealers all locked in and done for SSG, looking for maybe one more tank around at the back end there. Envy with Barrack and Ruckus already. Now looking for some healing. They're going to get themselves Leon or Rock Monkey, and then Genos for Mr. Hayes to round out their composition.
It's very aggressive. It's the closest to triple DPS you can get without going triple DPS. I mean, Leon, Maeve, Ruckus all being pocketed with that Luminary damage boost when it's kind of one of the last ones left. Very, very powerful, especially with Barrack too. I think Genos have a real... I think Envy have a pretty scary draft on this map, and it makes sense. I mean, they're so comfortable with what they want to be playing on Fish Market in general that the fact that they end up with almost an ideal draft for it doesn't surprise me at all.
I kind of want to rotate back to the IO. What is, in your opinion, it's kind of been the healing versus damage reduction talent on a map like Fish Market. Does one maybe stand out as a little better than the other?
What, for IO?
Yes.
For Goddess Blessing? I think I would use the damage reduction for sure. I think Lifelink, especially, it's not great when you want to be using Luna for objective pressure, because then you throw on the point and someone's like, I need heals, and now your beam heal is just worse.
Right. Well, one quick rundown. Barrack, Ruckus, Maeve, Leon, Genos for Envy, and Nara, Cassie, IO, Eevee, Ashe for SSG. Game 1 about to kick off. Let's go down to the casters.
Thank you guys so much up there for the desk. Of course, it's me, Fawn, here with Goremizer. I'm super excited to see what it is that we have in store today because of the fact that IO is actually on SSG's team.
Yeah, I mean, being able to come through, the one that stood out to me the most is probably Eevee, but granted, I was just sitting in a room watching Freeze God and Simsy play that 1v1. I know maybe how it feels, but this is the opening. This is kind of the flourish moment for SSG as they step forward, because I don't know what to expect out of them. Last week was kind of a huge meta shift. This is a very big Envy map as well. And if they can take this map, if they can play a draft that's different and win with it on this map kind of deal, that speaks wonders to the improvement they've made.
I mean, SSG, very, very well known, at least this split, for not having played as much or doing exactly what it is that you would imagine that would end up being done for a team that hasn't really practiced like that. But of course, with each game, they just grow stronger after every single time. And the fact that they've drafted IO, completely new character, into their team, that already speaks volumes about how they've improved or how they're changing things up.
Oh, this is one of those maps that's actually quite perfect for it as well. We've kind of talked about it on the desk a few times when she's been picked up. But you'll have to notice, like, Tulki going to be standing on the ejected almost the entire time, kind of stuck over there. You throw Luna down there and just 5-man fight on the side. It's almost exactly what you would want, but it does depend on how much pressure you can kind of get early on. You do maybe want to get a kill or two to really help trickle it out and just snowball you into victory.
SSG already with the rotation, getting a lot of good shots on the Tulki. They're both playing Fish Market super well. Envy and SSG. You see that Ares is down here just firing away, but a 51% lead already in Team Envy's name is going to be enough to allow them to be able to put that pressure on the point, but a good snipe from Rachao is going to be able to take down Tulki.
I mean, it's 57-6 right now. The biggest thing that's kind of standing out, Mitao wasn't able to throw Luna directly onto the objective. Not only that, first off, Freeze God getting out by just the skin of his teeth there, being able to come through. Clean kills through a sweep there for SSG. And now they're going to be able to kind of match it. Nothing they did was kind of a giant mistake, but there were just small things where it's like, well, Luna wasn't on the point to truly contest. Then he let Luna die maybe a little bit too fast. And while he has a really good, like, kind of healer-based loadout, Luna going down like that, I mean, it increases their cooldown. It makes it a little more difficult to keep that control. But then once you have her there, that's what you get.
Well, a first kill for Mr. Hayes on Team Envy's side. Taking down Freeze God is no easy task, especially when they have to be able to focus him down as much as they do. Rachao, though, is finding the opener on the random noob. Rubu finds one on the Rachao. We're already trading back and forth, and now we see that there's an engage happening between Ash and Ruckus. They're both fighting each other, with Ash being extremely low, tries to shoulder bash her way out of there, using a little bit of that DR, but it's not going to be enough. Even Battering Ram can't save her from that one.
I think, honestly, from all of this, based on the next 2 minutes, we'll maybe get more of a feel for Envy, but the hardest part that's going to be here for them is very much just the fact that SSG doesn't have to invest everyone onto the point. If they take as long to get to where they were last time, then Envy with a comeback mechanic next round absolutely come through, but Tolki's getting bullied. Tolki's getting taken down and just, now I don't want to say eviscerated, but they are focusing him down and making this almost a perpetual 4v5.
Yeah, I mean, Rubu tries to dive into the backline onto the IO, but thanks to a Lunar Leap, gonna find her way out of there. But Freeze God still goes down despite trying to protect him. Rachao ends up trading off the kill onto Rubu. Random Noob's gonna have to back up just a little bit. They're gonna have to afford to give up some of the space it is that SSG is making for themselves. All of those ultimates just ended up being used to not let that momentum shift. And now SSG is back to the spot they were before with a minute in.
A couple of good shots here, keeping it at range. This is a very difficult / easy defense. It's very weird to describe it that way, but there's just parts of this map where finding the defense just comes fluidly with the map. Wherever you fight, wherever you stand, it tends to favor the defender. But then you get to this area right behind Rubu. Once you crest the hill, it becomes a little bit more in favor of the team pushing the payload and kind of getting it through. And right now, with, I mean, as low deaths as they have, as many kills as they've been getting, Rachao specifically at 4-1 and 2, it's still open. I mean, 30 seconds left. You're contesting at least a little bit, but the payload's right on the precipice of where it needs to be to convert this over, maybe for SSG.
Being able to try to crest over this hill is no easy task. You brought up a good point, is that the fact that it's hard to be, it's easy to be able to have this offense, but the defense is sort of weird to be able to defend. We see that Rock Monkey, though, turns around to deal with FRZ God. Dome Shield gets dropped on point to force Rachao off of it, but Ares, they have a kill in his name. SSG already picked off one. The rest of Envy are going to have to be able to try and fight back. A good disengage bolt followed by a nice blast shot to be able to give Toki just a little bit of damage and force him off of the point.
A lot of this is going to be Ares and Rock Monkey. How exactly is going to go through? That's a double kill for Rock, and that's immediately going to help them out. He's going for 3.
Oh, he has to go for it, and he does indeed. Enlightenment. Follow out with all these presences, man. He has hit every single shot in that engagement. Hands off of the keyboard in this case. I mean, I can't not imagine how... okay, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. How good you have to be able to hit not only all of those presences, but every single shot in that last engagement, and he single-handedly clutched that fight.
I mean, he gets 4 out of the 5 kills. He helps with the 5th one on top of that, but it's those moments. The thing that I was about to say was just Rock Monkey, actually up until that point, kind of having a quiet round. I mean, he gets 4 kills there. He was 1 and 2 before that. So now being able to come in 5-2 and 3, top damage. He is starting to feel this Leon, and that's the scariest thing. Well, Rock Monkey getting warmed up is a big threat. And him versus Ares, that matchup goes to Rock Monkey every single time, unless Ares is just on a different level for the day. But we haven't been able to see that. So if Rock Monkey can handle Ares and then turn and handle Freeze God on top of that, it just is smooth sailing for Envy.
Right, I mean, well, you already see that the aggression is here. Toki is not even going straight to the point. They're trying to control high ground, not allowing SSG the space they have before. Another good presence from Rock Monkey is going to land Rubu a double kill. Assert dominance onto the point, though. They don't want to be able to concede this one.
I mean, that was just good. I don't even know how much it was intended. I'm going to assume a lot. Toki there ate a couple shots from Sadak to make sure it didn't collapse in on Rock Monkey. He manages to stay alive, get out, and come back and have an impact. And the only advice I can give right now is stop stacking up. He's hitting 2 people with these presences every single time. These shots are different than what you have experienced if you're SSG. But much like last round, now it's 63-6, so a little bit more percentage for Envy, but they are in no position. They are not winning the fight. And they're going to have to figure out what to do here soon.
Yeah, have to back off of the point, of course. Toki eating a lot of shots for the rest of the team. SSG really trying to win these side engagements here, not fully committing on to a fightless air. Sure, they're going to get the pick, but a good Hexafire to try and force Ash off of this point. They do get Sadak, but we already see that they traded 2 for 2 on both teams. FRZ God blinks in to try and get some damage on Arubu. He finds the shots he needs to be able to force him back, and now the percentage is building in SSG.
I mean, being able to hold on to it for a little bit, but they still have 2 tanks here present to be able to kind of keep that pressure on. Tolkien can come in, tap, keep overtime going while his team respawns. And it's going to come up to Sadak where exactly he goes, what he can do with that amount of pressure, whereas Rubu, I mean, he's over here pressuring. He's got a line of sight onto Freeze and to Ares.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Rubu was able to get that kill on the Ares is going to be enough. He finds a double for himself in this case. He uses the Void Grip to make sure that Sadak actually can't shoulder bash his way on the point to try and contest. And FRZ God's all the way in the back, along with Midtown. Both of them are trying to focus down Rubu, get those kills, but Random Noob peels back along with Rock Monkey. They're aware that they're trying to dive their teammates, and because of that, they're able to capture the point, and how far up they are is going to be able to allow them a zone.
I mean, Mr. Hayes right now, 1-0-13. Rubu has a very big round for the team there. And I mean, in accompaniment, I think, with Random and Rock kind of brings that one down on them. But that was just good positioning. Like, I would normally say this is like, memeing someone, but it very much felt like that first round was a warm-up round for Envy. Like, they just had to get back in the zone. And now they're full force, and it's a little more frightening. A good shield there is going to be able to at least block Enlightenment, but they're on a tear.
Yeah, the Dome Shield already goes down to not only get the kills, but not afford to give up their positioning. A triple kill for Random Noob is already looking pretty good. Now Ares is forced all the way into the back of his spawn. He's trying to peek to do what he can, but they've already have multiple angles on them on Envy's side. The payload's still pushing in. He's trying to go for these dismounts. And they do actually manage to get a couple of them. A Surge Dominance called through, but Void Grip, they're going to be able to shoot them right out of the sky. Hexafire to cover their own bases. And now that Sadak's really on the point, trying to focus or fight them off, I should say. And they're going to have to back up. But at the same time, they did get the kill on the Ash. And now they're going to get one on the Rachao. He was the only one able to defend that payload.
I mean, there's I think legitimately too many things to highlight from Envy there.
Right.
It just feels unfortunate right now. SSG, I mean, a very, very good initial fight into Envy in the first round. But now you're looking at, I mean, when you look, you see Sadak, he was 0-6, maybe 0-7 by the end of that round. And poor Mitao, 0-4, 0-5 potentially by the end of that round. And it's just those slash lines where you're looking at it, like the essence of what we've seen Kanga be successful with is not quite working here for SSG. I don't know how much they've been practicing this, in scrims, what they've been bringing out for them, but IO right now not hitting, I think, the way they expected it to with this kind of draft.
Yeah, I mean, you already see right here, the 2 ultimates are up. We have Mr. Hayes, of course, we have Through Time and Space. We have the Midnight. And on SSG's side, respectively, of course, they have the Seismic Crash, the Scout, the Assert Dominance. So they have the aggression when they need to. And Sadak's already starting off on that note. He's pushing all the way to the back to deal with Rock Monkey, or at least zone him, prevent him from moving up as far as he already has. He's been doing a little bit too much on this Leon, so Sadak wants to be able to nip that one in the bud.
Unfortunately, you can try to nip anything that you want, but you have to figure something out about the point. And finally getting rid of Rubu, I think, is going to open this up. Freeze, though, needs to win a couple of little side fights. Needs to get rid of Random, probably needs to help get rid of Rock. As long as both of those two are alive, the potential for doubles, the triples, they still exist, just kind of laying in wait.
With comeback mechanic available on SSG's side, the point is steadily building in their name. I mean, charges right in. Sadak all the way into the back is going to go straight onto Mr. Hayes. It's absolutely huge. They do find the kill as well. 89% for SSG, and now Rubu has to be able to try and touch, or at least try and fight back against Ares. He does get the kill on the 1, but that's not going to be able to be enough certified. The rest of his teammates are already dead. Yeah. He goes down. Leon's going to be the next one to fall. Random Noob, Rubu, and Rock Monkey, the 3 Rs, are not going to be rest, relaxation, and retreat in this case for Envy.
I love what Sadak does as a call there. He's getting daggered in the back. He is, I want to say, like 1,500 health, about to fall down. Nowhere near like, oh man, this is life-threatening, but I have to act now moments. Goes in, ults, hits Mr. Hayes, and that's where the pressure is, right? That's the thing that's enabling kind of everybody else. This is a triple DPS from Envy without being fully triple DPS in the case of the Ruckus. And so you get rid of the source of their power, rip away that Luminary for a little bit, and then all of a sudden the tanks are having more trouble. They don't have enough health to kind of stay and continue the fight on the point. There's not enough damage coming down from Random and Rock, and it starts to fall apart at the seams.
Yeah, I mean, Rubu's going to be able to push this one in, at least on the right flank, to be able to cover both Mitao and Ares in this case, both on Cassie and on Io. He's really just trying to look out to be able to make sure they don't actually peek. Ares eating a lot of shots. There's nowhere really that he could hide in that case. And in that same note, Anara did end up going down. And so because of this, I mean, they're going to be able to push back, but at the same time, they're going to have to find some sort of way to get back to the point with Envy setting up a really, really nicely defensive zone.
Well, the good news is around this time, the last time SSG had captured the point, they were able to start kind of turning it around. That shot not going to connect from Mr. Hayes means they do still have 5 full health, well, mostly full health members to be able to continue fighting. And if they can get around to where they were, unfortunately losing Rachao there means that it's definitely going to be more difficult. But the only thing that stopped them last time was Rock Monkey playing out of his mind. This time around, that's just happening a little faster.
Right, yeah, I mean, of course, Rock over here around this corner, Envy able to defend. And really, they have 4 ultimates up as well. They have the Dome Shield, they've got the Midnight and Light and Mid Hexafire. So they have defensive ults, they need to be able to use them. And in this case, Rock Monkey's going to peel back to try to deal with FRZ God. Between him and Random New, FRZ's not going to really have a way to get out of there. Now they're looking at Mitao, knowing he's all the way in the back. Ruby pushing up, along with Toki, along with Rock Monkey, and they're really backs against the wall right here. They're trying to move in, but Rachao eating a lot of damage from Rock. They're really holding their ground so well. They really, SSG hasn't really been able to push past this point in a while.
I mean, they are, locked away. Finally, Rachao and Sadak are going to be able to get a little aggressive. They'll at least touch for overtime, but, I mean, Sadak has to trade his life for it. That's one of those moments where you have to kind of figure it's not worthwhile. He goes in, doesn't even get the overtime, unfortunately, for him. And then there was nice little body blocks coming through as well to kind of stop them. Loving the jersey there.
Yeah, I do too, actually.
Complete side note, but loving the jersey on the side of Sadak. But this is the play, I think, that seals the deal for them, right?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. He used the assert dominance in the back line to be able to get Mr. Hayes. He's finally able to get it. Taking out their support was absolutely huge because you see the kills just start coming up in SSG's favor right there. They get 4 kills in that small little engagement, which is what actually netted them the point. And now they have all of their ultimates online. They've got the assert dominance. They've got Begot. They've got Scout, Seismic Crash, Ice Storm. They've already got all 5 online. Team Envy, theirs are steadily building up. They've got 4, but, I mean, Mr. Hayes' 3-time his face is going to be up in absolutely no time whatsoever.
I think Begon could actually be one of the most impactful ults in a 99-99, just being able to knock everyone away from the objective. Very similar to a Hyper Beam, but you've got to wonder if Mitao is going to be in a good position for it, if he's going to be able to hit it. Like, that ult is something I'm going to kind of keep my eye on as they're saving, things like Scout, specifically for when Midnight comes out. Ice Storm they don't care about, so they can throw it out whenever they want. But there's a lot of kind of like pedal to the metal here for SSG, and they're about to feel the pressure.
Oh, man, the Seismic Crash actually came through but hit neither Random Noob nor Rubu. It allows FRZ to get out through the zone. I mean, they've already got the Dome Shield on point. There are so many fights breaking out around the point, but no concrete kill yet as of this midpoint. 33% to 34, and it's already building a 48 to 51. They finally get the first 2 kills of these engagements, and really now they've got 3 kills on Envy's side. 3 members of SSG are down with the percentage building in Blue's favor. They still got 3 ults up on Envy's side too.
I mean, they're just now getting their tanks kind of in position. Sadak's up here. He's going to have to dash down, but he's too low, and with Rachao, the minute he gets dismounted, that Inara might not be able to touch the way they want. Even though you don't have a Dome Shield, you still have a lot of pressure. You still have a lot of damage. And someone's got to get down there or else they're going to lose.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to touch just a little bit, but at the same time, how much longer can SSG try to hold on? They finally were able to sit down, settle onto the point. The Midnight ends up going out to be able to stop Sadak, really to know where he's shooting. He's going to fire, of course, blindly to where that choke point was, but we're already looking at the fact that Rock Monkey's picked up a kill for his team, but thankfully, Rachao, Ares, those 2 have able to netted themselves 2 kills for SSG. It's going to allow them to be able to defend, and they're not going to be able to touch.
Good little dismount from Freeze God at the end. Don't think Rubu was going to make the call to jump down prior, but he was definitely scouting out the area, trying to kind of weigh the options before, I guess, either his call or the team's call to come through, and winning the fight that way. Kind of sloppily, I will say, from SSG, but it gets them in the right position. 3-2. Any team can win. They stop Envy from winning off the capture. Envy can't get anything from this push. SSG could close out the game if they can keep up this amount of pressure.
Yeah, I mean, already Random Noob's looking really, really low. Good shots from FRZ, good shots from Mitao on this IR are going to allow a mid-air hit, a mid-air splash shot at least from FRZ God. Now they're being able to push it. A minute 50 still on the clock. Sadok's really holding this left leg. Doesn't want Rubu to be able to flank. Doesn't want Rock Monkey to be able to follow suit after that. And they're just holding it as best as they possibly can. He's going to show the bash to get right in there, right behind, right in front of Random Noob. And a good assert dominance bonks his head up on the top of the cave right there to allow himself to fall faster for that assert dominance.
Some good shots onto Rubu, keeping him pressured out and not letting him get any out-of-combat healing. The only thing he can get is some kind of attention from Mr. Hayes, which diverts from the rest of the team. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be playing, I think, as big a role as they wanted it to. Tolki going to be able to get a kill. Ares is already gone. Buying time is the best thing you can do on Fish Market, and right now Envy are doing exactly that.
Yeah, I think SSG forced to fall back after a couple, not misled, but a couple fights right there. Mitao ends up going down. A good presence, a good grace to be able to allow himself to be able to get that kill onto the IO. Their support's down, so now they definitely can't push up, especially with Ares looking as low as he is. Mitao, of course, still mounted, trying to sneak his way past Metal Gear Solid, his way past Envy in this case. 17-5, 11-9, 8-7, 7-4. I mean, the slash lines on Envy, 1-1 and 35. They're looking so good. SSG, not as good on the slash lines, but at the same time, they're holding their own because the score is 3-3.
I mean, yeah, that's the kind of case of how much kills can buy you versus how much just playing the objective can buy you. You don't need to win every fight you go into if you can still control the objective. I mean, we've seen that from Na'Vi. I mean, there's a game, Split 1, where they're playing Renegades, and Renegades were slaughtering Na'Vi in terms of kills. They lost the map 4-1, 4-0. Like, it did not feel like, at that point, Na'Vi would be winning. Same thing here. Doesn't feel like SSG should be winning with how many times we see them die, but, I mean, they're right here. They're in overtime. They could potentially close this out.
Oh, a good shot from FRZ God. He's definitely going to try and follow up on now the Rock Monkey in the back line. Blinks in and has to fall his way back out, of course. Rock Monkey just holding, has been at this angle forever, holding this right flank. He's looking at Mitao, a Hexafire to immediately burn down Sadok in this case. That's one of their frontliners gone. Rachao's the next one. Freeze God, he actually did Rock Monkey get a double presence right there because FRZ God and Mitao followed up on the kill feed at the exact same time.
I mean, it pierces. We've seen him do it a few times today, so I wouldn't be surprised if he tucks another one of those under his belt. But this is the big thing. So playing around the point, Dome Shield was used just prior to this replay, and, well, just prior to the end of the round as well. So Tolki's not going to have that immediately coming into it. The reason I think that might not be as heavily impactful, you're going to probably eat an early seismic crash. You might lose this early fight as Envy, but if Tolki can stay alive and get some charge up, maybe get some percentage on the point rushing there, Rubu should be able to kind of generate the ult charge they need. And in a 99-99, they can pull those out, but they have to make it to that point. They have to not get kind of just rolled over in the process.
All the items are coming up online. We've got record threes. We've got cauterized threes. We have so much already on both team sides. And really, they're just trying to be able to look out and try and get this aggression. Another good assert dominance on to Mr. Hayes. That's going to be absolutely huge. Sadok and Ares going around to the back line. Really, just the two of them found an opening. Because of that, they're able to get the kill. Rubu's really low. He's going to fall as well. Random Noob has to back up. Uses the Midnight to try and allow his team some breathing room, but 57% on SSG's side. Both Enlightenment and Through Time and Space are available. Random Noob can touch, but SSG already had the fight won at the very first few seconds of it.
Well, it's 93%. It's still ticking up. Random Noob's going in for a touch, but this is the perfect zone. This is why you want Luna. They can just 5-man aggro right into your face.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Hayes going to try going a touch, but he makes it on just barely. Mr. Hayes and Rubu end up going down, though. Ares with a double kill. Random Noob tries to fight back in this case to be able to try to get the kill, but big game damage from Ares. He's going to be able to get a triple of his own. Toki falls down soon after that. Rock Monkey looking for a touch. Enlightenment to follow through, but he's not going to be able to get a kill onto Mitao. The very least, SSG able to clutch that one out. Fist bumps and smiles all around for them. The first win of this set.
A very difficult game to fight back in, I think, as far as things go. It is not easy to take it to Envy on this map, although lately it seems like a lot more teams are prepared for Fish Market than they were in the past. So Envy maybe having to deal with that new kind of realization that's coming forward with them, that Fish Market might not be a done deal anymore. But at the same time, I think playing around IO it took them a little bit to kind of get to the, I think, full understanding or the full realization of it. But SSG got there. I have to give credit to Aries. He showed up big during that last round and really held the door open for the rest of his team.
I mean, yeah, with a triple kill like that, it's very, very hard to argue whether he actually did his part or not. And I'm glad that you brought that up. Fish Market, a map that was traditionally Envy's, or at least was their call to fame. Now everyone's able to play on it, or at least they're slowly starting to make their way to be able to play onto it. And I mean, that's absolutely huge. And we see the same thing, the same sort of story for Ice Mines as well.
And it's just one of those cases. I mean, Envy have been in this kind of zone, specifically with Fish Market, where it's just like, this is our guaranteed win. No matter what, this is our guaranteed win. That's now 2 sets that I can remember within the last couple of weeks. That hasn't been their guaranteed win. So they're going to have to figure something else out if they want to keep rolling forward. Because SSG, they've been figuring out these newer maps and, well, some of the older ones they didn't know.
I mean, SSG already with game 1 under their belt. Fish Market already out of the pool. We'll have to see what else these teams have in store for us right after this break.
iNap, powering the control room for the Paladins Premier League.
I guess you can throw your slash lines, all your stats, everything out the window, because in a 0.7 Fish Market, despite everything being in favor of Envy, SSG, the most important stat, of course, the points in the game, 4-3 in favor of SSG, somehow under the duress of Rock Monkey, pull out the win. Kresnik, that's just better, just objective play, I guess. If nothing else, you don't have anything else slash lines wise. It's got to just be objective play.
Yeah, I mean, it's a better objective focused comp. They have Io, they have Inara. All the time when Rashao would be backing up, just immediately top back up to full. That heal from Io, you can't ignore it. It's actually a pretty big burst. It's almost at the level of Ceres.
Well, I mean, I remember you kind of mentioned we were sitting back and watching it. You're like, you know, when Io's doing well, she's doing really well, and you know, it allowed SSG to kind of play the way they wanted. The front lines was kind of a matchup we were highlighting going into today, and Rashao and Sadak. I mean, if you have to pick somebody, because, you know, it's not an easy example. Like, if Envy win, you're saying, all right, Rock Monkey 100%. That's who we have to talk about. In this one, we're kind of down in the trenches, and that's what SSG were, and Rashao was a big reason that SSG were able to win.
Yeah, being able to keep that contention up, and also always finding, like, the finishing the kills. I know Aries was doing decent damage, but wasn't able to find kills because Rashao was just able to finish almost every single one off. You can see how quickly he can get re-healed by Io here, and combined with that Goddess Blessing, it's really hard to take him down. That DR, it does have diminishing returns, but it stacks just enough to make him almost unkillable.
And good shots onto Rubu there. Rubu as well. We kind of mentioned going into game, maybe picking into a couple of counters, but it was really the front line, you know, dominance of SSG this game. Sadak as well. A couple great ultimates, some good assert dominances really started to flip things around. But looking at Rubu on that Ruckus, kind of a hot start, started to slow down towards the end of the game. Do you now maybe question picking Ruckus into what SSG had drafted?
I don't think so, because he started so good, and we know Ruckus, as soon as that emitter goes down in one shot, he does fall off a lot. You really need that emitter to kind of eat a little bit more damage. Once Wrecker's online, you wouldn't think he would fall off that hard. But not being able to get that same amount of space really does kind of hurt that presence. But I think if they had been able to convert in the early game, it would have been a fine pick. For sure.
I mean, Envy came out looking okay, but SSG a little bit better on Fish Market. Grab it 4-3. Splitstone Corey is up next. Envy obviously picking Fish Market. SSG take that one. So that means Splitstone Corey, unsurprisingly, is SSG's pick. This is a map that they felt very comfortable on over the past few weeks.
Yeah, Splitstone's a really fun map, I think, personally, because it has a lot of options of what you can do. You can play in the quarry, you can play that high ground spamming defense, you can play in that lava, kind of play really aggressively flanking, and being flexible, I think, is big for SSG, just being able to change their draft as it goes on. And they're a team that I think their biggest strength is adaptation over time, and being on a map where you have so many options, it's huge for a team that prides themselves on that.
Well, they adapted well on Fish Market. We'll have to see what they set themselves up with on Splitstone Quarry. Another Strix first ban. Last time it was Envy who banned out Khan and then the Strix, I believe. This time it's SSG with the Strix and the Atlas. Envy still prioritizing that Barrack and Genos, I think, smartly. Why Strix, though? Why Strix twice in a row, first ban?
I think it just makes sense at this level. When you have this quality of player, these quality of players playing this champion that can do so much damage and is really only limited by how many headshots you can hit, when you're playing with this quality, it makes sense. You just want to get rid of that crazy skill potential carry. Yeah, Leon can do something similar, but at the very least, her massive burst damage across the map is on a cooldown.
Sure. Yeah, let's ask Rock Monkey about what Leon could do. He showed you on Fish Market, not enough to grab Envy the win. However,
I just want to live a normal
Spacestation Gaming pivoting over to Cassie and Evie. A good start for them. Cassie looked great in bursts on Fish Market for Ares. Big triple kill sealed up the game. Now Envy looking for a little bit of answer. Barrack and Genos to start them off. Ash for Sadak on Fish Market was a huge boon to SSG's cause, so I think Envy are smart rotating into that.
But I think Khan is going to end up in Sadak's hands. I think SSG want a point tank, so...
It's not much better, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And on this map, it's, I mean, having the fidgets to kill them in, having the lava to throw them in, it's really good. No
what doesn't kill me
free environmental hazard that you can get them in from anywhere, but there's enough cover where you don't even need to find that immediate kill to make Khan worth it. Ash may have coming in to keep things going from Envy, and they're falling onto another Genos composition, and it started well for them, but SSG really knew how to hold strong against what was coming in. And I actually really like how SSG's been drafting so far in this set, purely because this is, look what they have. This is comfort for them, I feel. The Inara may be a little different, but I don't feel like they've played anything out of their wheelhouse, and I think that might help them settle back in when they've clearly had some trouble, I think, reconnecting to the meta and how they feel about how they want to play.
And that's a conversation we've had surrounding Envy as well, is pivoting onto something you're comfortable with. You can succeed in the game if you play some champions that you're feeling good on. Certainly for Tolki, Hayes, and Rubu, that's at least the case here. Maeve remains to be seen. Moji being hovered, maybe just because it's next to Maeve in the alphabet and they accidentally clicked what they selected.
Were they trying to run two Maves?
Yeah, right, I guess. Maeve and Moji.
Maeve and Maeve would be a pretty good combo.
I'm sure teams would be okay with that. SSG, though, have, you know, kind of a do-it-all sort of composition drafted for them with the 5 they have. Envy thinking long and hard about whether they really want to go down this path. Would emoji work here?
You're really going to make me say that? Okay, Leon, there we go.
I think that's smart.
Short answer,
you win
no.
Or you die.
Long answer, no.
There is no middle ground.
Extra O's, right?
Yeah. There's no way that would have really. I mean, if they had played hardcore control, it could have been fine. But SSG, I don't think they're really looking for that. They can play too defensive for the emoji to really make anything happen, I think.
And I think it's smart. I mean, whether it was just a troll hover, whatever it was, I think getting Rock Monkey back onto the Leon.
For sure.
Because if he can repeat that Fish Market performance, I mean, that's the best setup for success that your team can be. We talk about comfort. Leon is comfortable for Rock Monkey. You mentioned you like SSG's composition, though. Do you like it better than what Envy drafted?
It's weird because it's almost like a straight run back from the last map, other than some minor changes. I think Envy have a good chance. It's really going to come down to that backline duel up top. Whoever frees up that space for their team, I think, is going to open it up for their team to take the win.
Well, Envy nearly take Fish Market, but SSG fight back. Envy looking for win number 1 on Splitstone Quarry.
Closing out the draft with the Leon here. In this case, Gore, I'm actually going to ask you a very, very brief question, because you said it before. I mean, they did end up picking the emoji, but you said that you sort of had something for me. I was just wondering, why do you think that they were hovering as long as they did?
So, in my theory, just because of playstyle, good damage, but you can kind of play Moji in the same instances that you would maybe push a Ruckus. She's not going to be as healthy, but since Magic Barrier instead of Shield is just immunity instead of extra health, Wrecker doesn't work against her. And so into a Cassie, if you're trying to swing that conversation, you can be like, well, maybe Moji over the Ruckus because there's not as strong of a counter. But much like Kresnik was saying, they just play defensive at that point and say, okay, cool. good luck playing this Moji. And so I like the switch over to the Leon because I feel like it just, well, we saw what Rock Monkey could do with the last game. It hits harder.
I mean, we're seeing what he's doing this game. Rachao literally eating every shot in Rock Monkey's clip at this point. He's going to be the first to fall during this small engagement right here. Looking left to try and deal with Sadak, of course, on the flank. But Toki sitting pretty on point, controlling it the best way that he possibly can on this barrack. Once again, Sadak and Aries being forced back into that small little room right there. 45% for Team Envy. They're going to have to find a way, some type of way in at least, but SSG going to really try and push this one back now that Rachao is back on luck.
And being able to come in, it's still going to be a very steep hill to climb. 75 to now 9 is never going to be, you know, what you would consider favorable. And Envy pretty much rocking exactly what they were last time around. Same thing for SSG. Couple of tweaks here and there to kind of shift things maybe more to one side or the other, but you're going to have to look at what a Dread Serpent can do as it's charged up 80% right there, overpowered 84%. Like, if you can get some ults early on in this round, you can do some more damage. You open this up to still be a win.
Random Noob tossing out some daggers, but of course, Mitao, FRZ God, aka Freeze God, and Sadak are going to be the ones that get 3 kills, 1 each for him. Overpower was missed, so he's going to get at least 30% of that refunded for him. Sadak standing in this small little room right here, of course, trying to watch out for Rubu, but make sure he's not pushing up a little bit too far, and Rubu not going to be able to win that engagement Trey unless the rest of the team follow through. A Void Grip. Rubu actually charges immediately in front of him just for a little bit. It's not going to be enough to be able to cause a kill unless it's Toki.
Really good Ice Storm, really good just sequence of ults coming down from both teams here. But I'm going to have to say it's leaning a little bit more favor in SSG. They're going to be able to body block, kind of keep on lock Rubu, and there's no one else to contest.
Yeah, I mean, 99% already for him. Overtime timer is going down, and they've already got their first point on Splitstone here. And of course, he tried to predict where it was he was trying to go. He was there, but his shot was just a little bit off. Wasn't able to quite get the kill on the gym.
A nice mid-air shot right there.
Yeah.
Being able to kind of find traces like that, but a very wonderfully fought back fight, I guess, in general from SSG being able to come through. Seismic Crash just used. Dread Serpent used in an area to kind of defy things. They weren't able to charge up the Dome Shield in time, so Envy were kind of dropped away at that. But good placement of the Ice Storm, good focus onto the barrack to cause a lot of trouble for them. And it's moments like that where SSG, I mean, we've said it before, and this might not be the best phrase to use anymore since it's so old, but smoke if you got them, right? You get your ults up, pop them. If it's the first round, first point fight, those will change the pace of the game. And I mean, they were down 75 to 9 at one point in that, so being able to take it back is huge.
Yeah, randomly. Of course, landing those daggers onto the back line, onto that even. Mr. Hayes just sitting up here. You get the kill on the Rubu, but he's just standing directly behind him. FRZ God moves directly in. Mr. Hayes eating a couple shots, and really the third one's going to be the one that ends up killing him. Rachao finds a double for himself, and I mean, they're already pushing in. Ice Storm's already up. Scouts coming up soon. They've got the Midnight, they've got the Dome Shield, and they've got Enlightenment. 1:05 still onto the clock. I mean, they have plenty of time even if they do lose this next engagement right here.
That's, again, a minute coming around the last corner already, and with this amount of aggression already showcased in their play style, Freeze God's playing on a different level on the EV. He's definitely playing the angles beautifully. And you need, very similar to the end of the first round on Fish Market, you need Rock Monkey to just come out and have like a quadra kill, essentially, to solve this problem.
Right, exactly. I mean, they do find 3 more kills for themselves. I was just about to mention Rubu and Rock Monkey getting 2 for their team, but it's like for every kill it is they get, SSG is just alive and well. They find 1 for themselves. Finally, they've got an FRZ God, and they've got Sadak. That's just the problem is you have to deal with. Rachao goes down. Finally, Rock Monkey with a double for himself. I mean, man, oh man, they are really, really trying to be able to fight back here. I mean, like, Envy, of course, don't want to lose, but at the same time, SSG's pressure has just been astronomical these past 2 games.
It's definitely felt very tilting in favor of SSG so far, like the entire fight. Question is right now, can they even get a touch for overtime? They were trying for it, and I think someone was able to get in there. And now with the Dread Serpent, their dream's still alive.
Oh, they're aiming for Rubu and Toki in the back. They do get Rubu. Now they're looking at Toki. They want to be able to...
What a wall.
What a nice wall. The earthbending a little bit too strong for Rachao in this case. Through time and space has to be used to be able to take care of Sadak, but they come into Midtown. Look at Midtown. Midtown wants a piece too. He wants to be able to go in and get some kills. A good shot onto Random Noob though. My goodness. I was talking about aggression a little bit before, but when you see the support play like that, then of course, aggression is not the word that you have to look for to be able to find a kill like that, or try and find a kill like that.
The only problem I have with it is that it feels too aggressive.
Right, exactly.
It feels like I think he was expecting either more DPS, maybe he didn't flick to turn around and slither the way he had planned. I think if he stays alive there, he gets a little bit more healing onto Rachao. They might still have been able to push that in, but things were kind of starting to slip out of hand. You could tell how aggressive the team was playing. And unfortunately for them, they were not quite able to find that push. Still a good defense from Envy, but backs against the wall. Like they felt that one. That wasn't really won as much by them as it feels like it was lost by SSG.
4-3-6 for Sadak, 4-3-8 for FRZ God. Of course, SSG slash lines are not looking poorly either. Definitely a different story from last game, even though they were able to clutch that one out. But Random Noob lived with no health. He does go down though, thanks to the Ice Storm that was placed by FRZ God. They trade out 1-for-1. Midtown gets the last little hit before he goes to the fidget spinners on the Rubu. Void Grip to prevent them from diving any further than they already are. But they've gotten the kills onto their frontliners. They've gotten the kill on one of their damage dealers. FRZ God trades out his life for Random Noobs. And now they're able to get the zone with Scout being the only ultimate online for SSG.
Using a couple ults early on there from SSG though, you're still going to be able to get your Dread Serpent, still going to get Seismic Crash, but Tolki's going to be able to run in Dome Shield, get the zone almost immediately. You're going to be able to have a Midnight that can come through. At this point, though, both are being held, Midnight and Scout. Scout being held for Midnight, Midnight being held because they want Scout to be used prior. And now that it's actually been thrown out, they might be able to kind of play around with that angle and with this ult.
Third Dominus goes to the back line to try and stun Midtown. Not going to be enough, though. Midtown uses Dread Serpent to reposition himself to make sure he didn't actually get stunned by Rubu with that Assert Dominus. Midnight as well, 66% to 69 already. And with it steadily building, it looks like Envy's going to be able to possibly get this one, especially since Rachao just got taken off the board.
And being able to find the kills, finding great angles right here. Last pair of daggers needs to connect. A good ice block, good blink, good movement all around from Freeze God, keeping him alive here. But unfortunately, the rest of his team not able to kind of keep up with his mobility. They weren't able to touch in time.
They were able to get the hit onto their frontliners with that through time and space. Dome Shield went down. The Enlightenment came out. I mean, they're just throwing everything out of, just throwing everything out there already. But 3 kills for Envy, 2 kills for SSG. They don't have as many ultimates as they have already. Now they're looking at FRZ God. He goes down. Rock Monkey with a double on Midtown and FRZ. Toki finding the last pick on the Sadak as the payload's rounding this corner.
That was a good mid-fight, specifically from Random Noob. Very good patience on the Midnight to make sure that it came out. Once Scout was thrown out by Ares, then he gets aggressive, then he focuses down what has been kind of causing the most trouble for his team. Gets rid of Freeze God. And once that EV's off the board, you don't have to worry about the Ice Storm, you don't have to worry about the pressures he's putting onto Rock Monkey or onto Mr. Hayes. You could kind of open that up for a mid-fight and make it a lot easier, and also allows him to transition where his damage is going. Unfortunately for them, it's only translated a little bit of the push, about 40%, 45% if you want to give it to them at their max distance. But there's still a lot of corners to break, a lot of little chokeholds to bust down.
Yeah, you have, oh my goodness. I was just about to mention the positioning here on the FRZ God. Ares know how to try to peek around in this corner, literally staring down the daggers of Random Noob. He found a double. 2 more teammates on Envy managed to find themselves 2 kills. So now we're looking at 4 members down on SSG. They're just now respawning. They have defender's advantage. They're going to be able to be right back on this payload extremely quick. Random Noob, I mean, he's already being pushed up. So is Toki on the low ground. At the same time, though, look how aggressive he's being into 2 people. The rest of Envy, though, they're able to follow up and try and cover for him as he escapes.
All for poke damage, all for dismounts, all to stop them from being able to get to the payload before SSG, or for Envy, sorry, we're ready for them to be at the payload. Now they're ready for this fight, and they're going to have to see what they can do with it. But unfortunately, they lose Toki right off the bat.
Yeah, Ice Storm ends up going down directly onto the point as Toki was just about to push it in. Wasn't close enough, though. A good air shot and good aim from FRZ God to be able to take out that Mave that was jumping up super high. He was able to actually land that direct hit. Didn't even use the blast damage to try and get that kill. Just all aim, all around. I can see why he did so well in the 1v1, the King of the Ring yesterday.
And just being able to come through. I mean, Simsy, you can take him at his word that he's not an EV player, but at the same time, FRZ is just really, really good at EV. Really zoned in right now as well, and it's been helping deal with a lot of things. Again, that's why Random Noob being able to focus him down was so important during that last mid. Right now, you're losing everybody. Your tanks are gone. Rubu should be able to jump down if he wants to. No, he's too slow. So even though he's around, it's going to be a defense.
Yeah, 2-2 already. Of course, this game has been extremely close. It was close like this last set, even going 3-3 for Envy and SSG. So these guys are really, really neck and neck. And SSG, of course, being able to show off that, hey, now that we're here, we've been doing pretty well. We've been practicing, and to be able to go up against the likes of Envy, especially not after having played as long as you have, man. I mean, that's such exponential growth coming out from SSG in such a short amount of time.
I mean, it's practice, homework, a little bit of everything, I think, factoring into SSG here. And again, slash lines, I mean, the best they have really going for them is 8 and 6. They've got 8 and 7. Not positive, not crazy. Same thing could be said for Envy. It's coming down to objective focus and who is able to kind of control that area a little more. Dome Shield just now coming online for Envy. They use the Assert Dominance, and Mr. Hayes finds a big double.
What seems to be an opening for SSG just turns out to be the perfect alignment for Through Time and Space. A triple for Mr. Hayes, actually 2 for the Through Time and Space, 1 on the last hit onto Rachao. He's just going to be sitting here, of course, buffing everybody as much as he can. And Rock Monkey, we're watching that little doorway right there. He knows FRC's around the corner. Sadak already engaged with Toki in the back line. He put down the Dome Shield thinking it was going to save him, but Sadak was just a little bit too close and up in his face to be able to try and counter out that overpower with that with the Dome Shield.
You're going to have to figure out something, though. I mean, Rubu kind of getting bullied out. Mr. Hayes manages to stay alive and kind of skirt away from the fight, but only barely so at that. And so 78% picked up, but we've seen SSG fight from a greater deficit and still come away with the objective. Rachao is very, very commanding on the objective. Him on Inara, him on Barrack is just... It's almost unstoppable in some of these cases. He gets into a zone, and he is such a phenomenal point tank and so difficult to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, we already see that both FRZ God and Random Noob are fighting along in the back line right here. He blinks up to try and get some damage onto Random Noob, and he definitely does in this case. He drops down to try and get some damage on him. Mitao and FRZ God is able to follow up almost immediately to be able to make sure that his teammate is safe and sound. 2 kills already for SSG. They're going to be able to actually capture this point with Envy throwing everything they had at him.
I mean, it's going to be a couple of good shots towards the end. Not many kills picked up there for Freeze God, but just the right amount of zone, the right amount of damage, and the right spots to make sure that no one is going to have the chance to jump down. And, well, like 2-2, one of my favorite score lines in game, SSG could close it out right here, right now, if they can figure out this push. They were very close the last time they were aggressing. So give them the same tools in their toolkit, and, well, all of a sudden, you might have the equation for success.
Yeah, I mean, God, of course, looking at Random Noob, both of these guys have been just walking the dance of death throughout this entire set. We already see both of them are blinking in, blinking out, moving as best as they can to be able to try and see who can get the first kills, the first little bit of damage. And FRZ is able to open the door once again for SSG. Overpower to make sure they get that kill on the Rubu, and now they're able to control Mineshaft and be able to look directly at their spawn to keep them pinned as hard as they can.
I'm not sure if it was necessary to get the overpower there, but it definitely solidifies the kill. It's just one of those ults that I think right now you would love to have it. Maybe a little bit more than when you used it there. Seemed like Rubu was dead to rights. A really good Assert Dominance right there is going to be able to open this up. Good stuns leading to good kills.
Doc, Ares, both of them end up going down. Of course, Rubu's running right after the Inara in this case. He's probably going to end up going down too. Mitao tries to heal. It's not going to be enough, though. He's just probably just going to let himself die to be able to group back up with his team. Ares is the only one to be able to make it out alive in that engagement, of course. Random finds the kill on the FRZ God as well, and now Envy's able to fight.
That's been probably the most prominent 1v1s on the side. And if you can't do the mirror match, I think Maeve versus Eevee is about the best you can get between all of that. 11, 7, 14, 12, 9, and 13. Both of the flanks are doing positive. Both of them are doing a lot of damage, the most damage on their respective teams. And as long as they can keep this up, I mean, these fights on the sideline determine a lot more. I mean, it's less pressure onto Rock Monkey or less pressure onto Ares, depending on who goes down first. It's less pressure onto the tanks based on who goes down. And with Mitau throwing his hat in the ring, all of a sudden Random Noob being gone makes a huge difference.
Try and break Koki's shield in this case. Throwing it out. He has to throw it out Dome Shield just to make sure that he stays alive in this case. It's right around this corner, healing up for Chow to pretty much full Sadak and Ares on the side, of course. Trying to fight back against Mineshaft. Throws out the Dread Serpent to try and peel for himself, but it's not going to be enough. Ares does find the kill on Mr. Hayes, though. But Toki already with a double kill is going to be enough to net Envy. More than likely, this defense.
Yeah, I don't see much ways for Sadak to get through what is the impenetrable Rubu right now, standing up top with Rock Monkey behind him to kind of be his mounted gun and burn them down. And, well, that round started with probably one of well, I was going to say the best through time and space we've seen today, but duh.
Right.
When it comes down to it. Very good shot, very good angle held up here. And it's all ult combos. That's on the back of a call from Rubu to use the assert dominance. Gets a good stun. And that's the difference between Envy and some of the other teams we see is just when they have that communication on lock, you get those moments. Unfortunately for them, that was the last one they had that round.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks for Mitau, too, because he tried to use Dread Serpent to peel for himself, but he ends up getting killed immediately, and he has no ultimate in this case. FRZ, the Ice Storm, of course they have the Scout, but no really offensive ults almost there yet. Of course, depending on how long this fight goes, especially since it's 3-3, still go either team's way, but, I mean, Envy have some ults of their own.
94% on the through time and space. You get 2 kills with that, and you're up 50%, you might be able to just seal the deal for your team. So it's important for Mr. Hayes to stay alive and kind of skirt around, not only fueling up the tanks, but also just with that potential for so much damage.
He already in the back once again, an engagement versus Random Noob here. Who has to use the assert dominance, but Sadak really just standing there, body blocking him, making sure that he does not get to their back line. He has to shoulder bash his way out, but both of them sandwiched literally between 2 tanks to make sure that he cannot escape in this game. 93% already for SSG, and this is probably going to be it, actually.
I mean, they're just storming through this fight, 99%. There's an overpower. They've got this.
Wow, I mean, what can you really say? I mean, oh my goodness, dude. Like, SSG already with 2 games under their belt. The adaptation coming into this week already is looking absolutely clean for SSG.
They figured out the drafts they want to take. They figured out Envy pretty well. And I mean, you're looking back, we always talk about Na'Vi and Envy because that was the World Finals last year on stage. This was one of the semifinals. It went 7 games when they played on that stage. But since then, SSG's been kind of figuring out a little bit more about Envy. And today, it feels like they might have been able to kind of dial it in fully. And Overpowered's on the point, like being able to find out where Rubu is, get rid of him on time, focus down a lot of the pressure, not letting Random Noob kind of go rampant with the battle between him and Freeze. It's been very good from SSG.
Well, clearly they've been controlling the sidelines. They've been controlling a little bit of the set. SSG seeming to be stronger and stronger as the games end up going on. Already 2 games under their belt. We'll be right back into Game 3 after this break.
Alienware, the official PC provider of the Paladins Premier League.
Same result as game 1. One more 4-3, one more win for SSG, and they go up 2-0 in the set. Traditionally, a pretty one-sided set if you look at split number 1, 4-1 for SSG both times. Could be in for more of the same here. Envy looking for a way to bounce back in game number 3 now. Not surprising, though, seeing SSG succeed on Splitstone Quarry. It's been a comfortable map for them. Another long one, though. Envy showing some fight, but those little final fine-tuned moments all coming up for SSG.
Yeah, I mean, Envy had some great execution, too. Like, we saw the assert dominance into the through time and space. Great play by Hayes, but SSG were just, I think, getting the better of the back and forth. They tried to make Random go a little bit too deep.
Yep.
He was trying to keep Envy up above in their head, but instead they went under.
All right, we'll let that one sit for just a second. I told you I was going to let you do it.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
FRZ, though, big performance in this one. We talked about comfort and how SSG drafted themselves a composition that could work, Aaron. It does work. It does work. But the champions themselves, very comfortable for each of the players. And FRZ on the Eevee, that's certainly no exception.
Yeah, for sure. Eevee's so good on this map. I mean, so good she's being played in the console league. We've talked about this before. And FRZ has been in the discussion for one of the best Eevees in the world, for sure. His ability to just win those duels with Random a lot of the time also, when normally I would consider that to be kind of Maeve-sided, but still able to get that win and just open up that side of the map for his team, really. This is that very last fight, the end coming in on the perfect flank, basically to... Okay, didn't steal that kill from Sadak. Ares did that instead, but just being able to get away with being so aggressive because he's just so comfortable on the character, I think was a huge boon to SSG this map.
I mean, and then mobility. You look at that final replay, and this is just the nature of Eevee, not so much FRZ, but he's fighting all the way back in his base one moment, flies through the point, adds another kill and assist to his belt, and then blinks further into the enemy team's base. And that's just what Envy, or Eevee rather, brings to the table. I can be way over here, confirm a kill, shift things over towards the mid fight, and once that's all figured out, I'll move forward, get some dismounts, and help seal things up for my team. Is there anything specifically that jumps out at you that Envy maybe need to change, or are they just sometimes little moments that just haven't been coming up in their favor?
I think they just might need to go more sustainy. I feel like they drafted the same comp twice in a row, and it just didn't pay off for them.
Well, map 3 could be a time to change for Envy. Ice Mines it is, as you see there. As I mentioned previously, 2 4-3s, both for Spacestation Gaming. On the downhill run, the snowball run, if you will, towards victory here over Envy. Willow taking a seat in the ban column here with Atlas following up for SSG. Strix has been a ban favorite for both teams here. Certainly can be played on Ice Mines. I think Willow is probably a better ban, though.
Yeah, I don't know if it's bannable on Ice Mines. It's playable, but I don't know if it's going to be that good. Depends on, I think, how effectively you think your comp is going to cap the point. Because he's okay on mid, but he's great in those longer sight lines once you finally get out of that really close-knit mid fight, and Envy banning Khan instead. So now if SSG ban Makoa, which they will, Envy will have first priority on the best off-tank remaining, which is Ash.
What do you think about Terminus? Ice Mines has been a map where he's been picked up a few times. Granted, Zareni has kind of become the focal point of that conversation. SSG's in this game, though, as well. I know there's a bit of a troubled past with SSG.
I was going to say, I think I've given them a nightmare. Every time they wake up, they think about me saying, pick Terminus here.
I mean, SSG are locked, and he's been played as a point tank, so SSG locking in Barrack might kind of dispel any of that.
Well, I mean, SSG, they had Sadak play it before. I mean, Terminus off-tank was initially what we were projecting his role to be. Because of his inability to siphon multiple angles, they figured, well, if the point's in the middle of everything, put him on the side. Make him only lock down one. Not sure how it would fare on this map. I think it would be okay personally, but I am definitely the most biased possible person you could be asking this question.
Yeah, what a perfect guy to have sitting next to me talking about Terminus. It's not going to be Terminus, not at least just yet. SSG up 2-0. Lock in the Barrack and the Ying.
Great start.
Ash, I think, very strong. It's been the flavor of the day as far as first pick worthy. Khan sometimes answering back, most notably on Splitstone Quarry for SSG. But Envy feeling Ash carries enough weight on Ice Mines to warrant that first pick. Lots of space control, good ultimate, and Tolkien on the Inara provides much the same.
This adds up a lot for me with how Envy like to play this map. I remember just seeing how Envy hold Rubu kind of very defensively outside of the door to stage, not really pushing across unless he finds the opening. And that adds up with the rest of the composition now. In Nara, Drogos, not really super aggressive. You're going to be running the Drogos Fire Spit a big AoE cleave and Nara to contest the point.
Come here,
I wish they could see what you were doing right now, kind of reveling in the potential Terminus pick here. It has potential to be good. When Drogos can't get into the skybox, because originally Terminus destroyed Drogos. I felt like the Terminus-Drogos matchup was super lopsided. Now that you're on a map where he can't really get that height, he can't really get over the Siphon as much, it could kind of go back into Terminus's favor. Being able to eat the fire spits really, really negates the value that you get from Combustible.
I like it. Not only do I like it because it makes me look smart, I like it because, you know, what you just said, I think it definitely brings some value top to bottom. Bomb King, though, for SSG, in the conversation surrounding Bomb King has kind of been the you know, it's not that he's suddenly bad, it's just there have been different blasters, different flanks that have kind of come to the forefront. Definitely a map where Bomb King works. We had a conversation about Strix going into this, and you sort of mentioned, you know, mid-fight, maybe not his best area. Certainly he's just going to hang out sort of where those backliners do. But if you're able to cap or if you have to defend, those kind of long sight lines are good for him.
Yeah, for sure. Once they get to that point, he's definitely going to be a lot better. This is, I think, a decent ending for SSG. It's rough because Envy have such a passive composition, and they don't have too much good long-range confirm.
Right.
It's going to really be on a lot of how much the Terminus and the BK, Sadak and FRZ can gain space-wise.
Right.
I have a feeling they might, I guess they have to contest stage. I was going to say I have a feeling they might just play inside of the cabin, the close side, and just try to run through there, but I would just leave Rubu uncontested. He could run through at that point and pressure areas really heavily, so I think they're going to have to play stage, and that might end up biting them in the end. Too many angles, potentially.
Yep.
It's going to come down to how well Sadak can shut down random on this Drogos.
There's a lot of spice on this Thursday morning on this Ice Mines draft. Ying, Grover are the two healers as well. Not surprising seeing them both individually, but I think I'm so used to seeing, you know, Envy or SSG kind of lean into that Genos meta or lean into the Furia meta. Haven't seen her today. But Ying, Grover locked in for both of those teams. 5 up, 5 down for both. Do you like one for Ice Mines better?
I think Envy have the better Ice Mines draft. With the way SSG is playing, I think they can make that work. And I just want to remind everybody that I did not force Sadak to pick Terminus this time.
Yeah, we have direct line back
this
there,
was on this was of their own volition.
I willed that one into the universe, I think.
You did. Which is the first time I think it hasn't been me willing the Terminus into the universe, I'll be honest. But
yeah,
SSG have a shot. It really does come down, I think, to that Terminus-Drogos matchup. SSG, though, Envy, I think, have the better comp for Ice Mines.
Well, this is the time where they need to turn it around. I mean, once you go down 3-0, SSG nearly did it. They won 3 straight, couldn't make it 4. SSG looking to make it 3 in the win column for them. Casters, take it away.
I don't know, Kresnik. After we caught you that one time with the coach's headset on behind SSG, maybe you did tell him something a little bit before this game started. However, I digress. Ice Mines is going to be the map it is that we're on today. Of course, you have blasters, plenty of them. You got the Bomb King being brought out on this map, but you have the Drogos as well. Strix to probably sticking to Rock Monkey on that one, but I like both of these compositions a lot, actually.
Yeah, both of them feel very Ice Mines-centric. It just comes down to execution. Where can Bomb King go that's going to be kind of free? How well is Ares going to be finding these shots? How do they deal with the Strix? How do they deal with the Drogos? A lot of positioning questions for the Terminus as well. Necromantic Might there to reduce the damage required to generate one of his charges, so he's going to be able to get that damage up a little bit more, as well as going for It Watches 5. So whenever you hit someone with his Massacre Axe, he's going to be able to get 10% Power Siphon charge back. So very aggressive style, going to give him a lot of damage in return and kind of good shots, as well as more incentive to go just lay the smackdown on an Nara.
Right, exactly. I mean, of course, the Siphon is going up. You need a little bit of that damage, walks up, hits him once, but backs off, really just trying to dance around this point. Immediately, Anar gets booped off, and now Richald's the one sitting pretty, having that Siphon up every now and again, eating the axes, eating the shots, to make sure that they have a harder time trying to be able to deal with them. They do knock the Inara back, but Richald ends up going down just from a good focus fire from Team Envy.
Now looking, essentially spreading the where the damage is coming from. You have Random Noob far, well, in that case, far right of where Terminus is looking. You have the Strix hitting him from the far left. You got to decide which way you want to look. He chooses wrong. And unfortunately for him, that means that Drogos is going to be able to get the kill. And now the only thing that was kind of keeping Random Noob capped is gone.
Right, exactly. I mean, of course, the Terminus ends up coming right back to where he was before. Throws out the combustible, but eats the fire spit. He's eating a little bit too much damage, though. In this case, you can only eat so much before you end up getting full. In this case, he's full of bullets. He is going to be forced to back off, of course, the rest of SSG. In this case, combustible fire spit goes out. He's really being able to keep them off of this high ground.
Salvo charged up and ready, going to be able to find a little bit of damage off of that. But good aggression coming down. A King Bomb in retaliation to try and stall this out and stop it where it can. Get rid of Mr. Hayes, cause a little bit of trouble just prior for your tank. And this actually is slowing things a lot for Envy.
Throwing out the bombs, of course, able to get a stun. Of course, Freeze God and Ares are both able to get a double kill each in this case. And I mean, they're already looking pretty good, and Freeze God hasn't even died yet.
I mean, it was very much like, you know, so when you're a student driver and you're in the instructor's car, they have brakes that function for them. That's all they have. They don't have a gas pedal, they have a brake over there. That's what Freeze God just slammed on. He had the instructor's brake, where it's just like, Envy have full control of everything else, and then Freeze God is like, no, stop.
Yeah.
Right here, right now. He's 4-0. He's still getting some kills, and if he can kind of keep this up, it's unfortunate that it took, I want to say, as long to get online as it did. But now that he's able to find it, you get warmed up on it. Maybe you get Rachao warmed up as well onto this Terminus. And all of a sudden, things start to maybe mesh for SSG. You're looking for a minute-long 1-1, but they are looking good on this defense so far.
Right, I mean, Rachao was able to burst that Drogo so much and able to fire a couple shots back at Rock to prevent him from peeking as easily as well, though. This Drogus has been a force to be reckoned with. Fire spit comes out, hits the deployables, hits the barrack, hits the Cassie, another good fire spit to follow through, and they immediately get the kill on the Ares. Now this is their opening. Rachao turns around, be able to eat a little bit more of that damage, and ends up bursting down Rubu, along with FRZ God in this case. Illusory Rift goes out, but I mean, they still come out on top of this little engagement right here.
I mean, at least being able to find it, Sadak gets a couple of kills. Or just the one onto Rock Monkey as they kind of channel everybody else of Envy into the corner over here. It's 20 seconds left. The payload has completely regressed back onto the midpoint. So even if Envy are able to touch it, they have to make the entire push. And, well, 10 seconds plus some overtime, and that's assuming they can even get back to it.
Yeah, I mean, Rock Monkey literally right up in their face right here.
Nice
a good headshot on the Barrett. Sadok's going to go down. Commander's grab to come through, but of course, Rachao still standing right in front of the face of everybody. No fear, able to stall them out long enough for them to be able to make it a 1-1.
Now I can pick out the one thing that's a little weird to me. I did not expect Sadak to be the one on Barrack and Rachao to be on Terminus.
Yeah, that
it
is
feels
very
much like it should be the reverse. You can take it as the way I see it. Rachao has had nothing but fantastic Barrack games in the past. I can't think of many reasons to scoop it away from him. And I mean, one of my biggest memories of Sadak has to be his Terminus saving games on Ice Mines in the past. So it's very interesting to see that kind of switch come through. But so far, they're hitting the stride. They're exactly where they want to be. It might be just because of the play style they have to go around for this Drogos to make it work, and where they want to maybe get the opening for Freeze God to let this Bomb King come through. Swapping those two champions and letting them play kind of in the different role might open the door more for their team.
FRZ got top of the damage. 4 ults up for SSG as well. They have the Flashbang, they have the Whirlwind, and the Dragon Punch on Envy side. In response to the 4 ults that are already up. Scout already goes out though. Flashbang to throw it out. Don't end up getting any coverage at all though. Doesn't really find its mark here. And Rubu is actually going to be the first one to go down by being in a bad enough spot for SSG to take advantage.
A couple of good shots here. Mr. Hayes is incredibly low. Nice threading of the needle there for Ares. He's able to find him just before cover would click through. Reanimate going to be used so that you can have Rachao still in the fight. With Ice Mines, that's a very, very important ultimate. Being able to have that extra life if you go down at any point means you don't have to wait for yourself to run back. Master Riding maybe not as important for you because you just kind of respawn right there.
Right, exactly. I mean, of course, Rubu, the rest of them are going to go around just for a little bit. King Bombers are coming right out. Manages to get random move, but stuns Toki in the process. And Barziga is going to be able to do enough be able to not only force them back, but be able to keep on chunking them. In this case, Rubu goes down as well. 99% already for SSG. And man, oh man, dude, like, oh my goodness. Like, the kills are coming up red, along with the fact that it's already 2-1 at SSG. They're looking the best they've looked this split so far, in my opinion.
Every now and then you get that, like, fresh reminder that Sadak used to be a DPS player, and watching him play Barrack there was like, not like when they pick triple DPS, it's a little more obvious. But there was just like, here's him with this blunderbuss just clicking on heads the way that it could be. I mean, he was finding some really good flick shots for someone who, you know, is supposedly just no brain, no aim, I'm a tank main kind of deal. I mean, he's doing a lot of work for them. And again, there's so much fun that could be had with him, but he's knocking it out of the park right now. And this is the matchup that's winning him a lot. He's body blocking Rubu, finding the shots on him, the kill on him. If he keeps winning like that, it's not easy goings, but it certainly helps.
Yeah, the seismic crash to be able to try and capitalize on Rachow's mispositioning, as well as them being a little bit too aggressive. But man, oh man, Sadak managed to get the kill on Toki. Random Noob's killing everyone pretty much at the back line. A lot of these fire spits, a lot of these shots are just a little bit too much for SSG to really be able to handle in that respect. Dragon Punch is almost up though, so I mean they're looking good. It's just a matter of SSG being able to make the slow climb back to where they were. With the minute 15, they've got plenty of time.
Ashe has been heavily prioritized this set. It's the first pick here for Envy. And so many times they've been able to kind of like, they grab her up about as fast as they can. 0-5 right now. I mean, just not the performance out of that pick that you really want to see. And really, I think they're dissecting what has been causing Envy a lot of trouble. Rubu is kind of the door opener. Like, if he is having a bad day, you have to either have Rock Monkey and Random having the best days of their lives, or it starts to fall apart. Like, they can have their average day, but if Rubu isn't up with them on average, then it starts to fall apart here. And they're just picking him apart every chance they get on SSG. And it's causing a lot more trouble for Envy than I think they would have had to deal with otherwise.
Blocking already fully charged on Rachow's side in terms of the little Calamity burst he has right there. 20 seconds. No one's really peeking too much SSG side, but get the kill in FRZ God. They get one on Mr. Hayes. I mean, thanks to Mr. Hayes. I mean, they're already looking pretty good, of course. Rachow's going to walk in there and just end up dying to make sure they don't really stagger themselves out too much. And of course, the round's already ending. They're just going to go ahead and give this one up.
Yeah, a couple kills like that, no tanks. Mitao almost stays alive, but goes back to where Mr. Hayes was hanging out and was ready and waiting for him. Definitely felt like there was maybe an essence there, like a seed that was planted to grow, but there wasn't a convenient one at any point in time for SSG to kind of, well, water it and let it flourish the way that it could have. Not without having to use a lot of ults, some of which they didn't even have. So coming into this round, Eyes on Terminus, reanimate. Again, very huge for a mid-fight just because it gives you that advantage. If they invest X, Y, Z into you however much, you know, a Dragon Punch to kill you off or something else, you just pop that reanimate, it means nothing. If you can get a kill with it or do something with the life you get thereafter, it will mean a ton. Of course, Freeze God's just ridiculous right now. Top damage in the game, a very beautiful slash line to be able to kind of accompany that. 8, 2, and 4, as well as now a full Cauterize online. He's just going to be causing trouble pretty much top down for Envy.
Walled off a little bit at the beginning, of course, from Chow and FRZ God. Watching this room trying to combat that Drogos. Chow eats the fire spin. Whirlwind actually ends up coming out as well. And really, they're just trying to keep everybody in this little area alive. He does get hit by the Dragon Punch, but you already see that FRZ is really just coming around this corner with the King Bomb. Does end up getting the stun. They get the kill on the Toki. Of course, but Chow's going to resurrect to make sure that they stay engaged and all the way juiced up in this fight.
I mean, Envy played exactly what, like, that was, SSG looked at the Envy playbook when they were drafting and said the best case scenario is a Dragon Punch into a Terminus with his ult up. And Random Noob was happy to oblige during that fight. It just doesn't mean much. If you can kill Terminus off almost immediately after, then you make him theoretically waste his ult. But you didn't. You actually got zoned out because of him, and now he's getting pretty aggressive into you. He's causing a lot of distraction factor to make this 90%. This is good from SSG.
Yeah, he's just holding up the Siphon, of course. FRZ able to get 2 kills of his own. Just being in the right positioning, of course, is allowing them to be able to do these types of plays. Another good stickies and bombs from FRZ. I mean, it's so hard. Yeah, I was just about to ask to bring up the damage charts in this case. 94,825 damage, 77,000 for Ares. I mean, the two of them are really just popping off. 12 and 2 for FRZ. 12 and 2, man. The double digits, only 2 deaths. The fact that he's been up so often has definitely been a lot of the reason SSG is able to to be able to fight and win these.
I mean, him being alive, him being able to cause this damage. But the other thing is looking at where Rock Monkey is, and he's less than 1,000 ahead of Sadak. Sadak is matching the Strix right now, and that's the biggest difference when it comes down to it. You don't have that coming down out of Rubu. He's still getting the same amount, if not more shielding than everybody on Envy here, as you see there. And so Sadak is bringing his A game. He's bringing everything Barrett can bring and then some. And you're getting maybe a B+ out of everyone on Envy. Right now, I'd rank it as a C coming down from Rubu. This Ashe just isn't hitting the mark. And that King Bomb still finds the stun, but lucky for Random Noob, he at least gets rid of the Bomb King before it can, terrorize him.
Yeah, goes out the fire spin, of course, followed by the assert dominance. Mr. Hayes ends up getting a good axe off onto Ares, which is going to allow them to get the kill, but they've still got a minute and 10 seconds left. SSG, this aggression, man, I don't know what they did. Kresnik, I don't know what you're feeding them, if you're secretly coaching them and we don't know about it, or whatever it is you're doing. I don't know what's happening. SSG are able to go against the likes of Envy when really they weren't looking so hot last week or the week before that even.
I mean, it's definitely been a learning curve here for SSG, but they seem to have gotten it. This is the question. Do you pop it? Do you not?
Yeah, he's going to
Zhao's going to hold on to it just in case. That's one of those moments. There's 30 seconds left. If you make the call to ult there, you have to commit. The entire team has to commit. And I guess not feeling as confident as they could in their ability to push this the last 15 to 20%. SSG holding on to it means they're expecting this to be a 3-3.
Yeah, Toki, of course, going toe-to-toe with Sadak in this case. Of course, the Seismic Crash is available. Dragon Punch and Whirlwind are as well, but Rich already going all the way into the back line. They might try and end up ending this depending on the position because they're taking. Rubu goes down first. Midtown follows suit, but FRZ already got a double, and the rest of them are, I don't even know if they're going to be able to fight back. So in fact, both of their frontliners are just gone. Dome Shield immediately on the point, too.
And they get Random Noob while he's in the air. That's perfect.
That's it. That's literally it. There's no way Rock Monkey's going to have to touch, but he can't do what he needs to. They're able to make it back, but there's only 2 of them left. Rubu goes down. Toki's looking like the next one on the menu here, and they're really just laying into him everything they possibly can. It's a good stall, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
I mean, they're just body after body after body. A triple kill for Sadak. Freeze God was going crazy, but they've been taken down. Midtown should be back in the fight by now, so they've got the healing again.
Oh my goodness, he is. He is already back there. They've got the resurrection too.
Jeez.
They still are fighting their hearts out. Both teams do not want to give an inch in this case to the other. They have the resurrection still. They've still got the King Bomb. FRZ has just made it back, and they get Reterminus, but he still ends up capping it.
I mean, Reanimate's ready. They have King Bomb ready. That moment, once Reanimate comes through, they committed so heavily to that. It was just that perpetual stagger. That felt like an Envy fight, honestly. Normally you see those, and it goes that way, but I guess you can't count on Freeze God single-handedly, eliminating the team. Then Sadak picking it up when he drops down. Like, the carry potential for everyone that was there. It was the perfect opportunity, the perfect storm for SSG to continue that amount of push. Any other draft, I think any other team really at that moment, that falls apart and you see a 3-3.5 right now.
I mean, we've seen the IO already. I mean, Kanga was able to bust it out a few times, but now we're seeing SSG even delve into that. Now they've also gotten the Terminus to delve into that a little bit to try, I believe, counter out that Jorgus. I mean, they've been bringing their A game. Already up 3-0. They're on Ice Mines. They've won on Ice Mines. They've won on Fish Market. They've been doing some adapting, man.
I took some notes for him.
Yeah.
Handle Freeze God. That's the only thing that I can think right now, and it's difficult to do. You got to break through Sadak, which is hard enough right now when he's playing at the level he is. There's just so much that it feels like the tide is against Envy.
Yeah, I mean, they had such a pivotal performance here, guys. Already 3-0 SSG is. Right after this break, we'll be right into Game 4, which could be the last one.
The Paladins Premier League is brought to you by Evil Mojo, developers of Paladins.
Just like that, just like that. Forever's never gone so fast. just like that. Forever's never gone, just like that, just like that.
Make it 3 for SSG Ice Mines. Another a little bit more convincing victory for the Space Station boys. 4-2 this time around over Team Envy, who are still searching for their first win in this set. In Kresnik, it seems like SSG are just not going to be denied today. I mean, it's still time for Envy to come back. You got to take it one game at a time, as I like to say. But this is the most dominating performance we've seen so far.
Yeah,
in this
for
set.
sure. Everyone take this to heart. No one beats SSG 6 times in a row, and they're definitely performing pretty well today, actually. I mean, Ice Mines, for me, is a surprising map for them. It's been a ban historically, and then they let it through this time, and they show up on it with a kind of unique draft, and they're just firing on all cylinders. I think everybody on that team did what they had to, for sure. I mean, out-healing a Grover, even in a dominant performance position most of the game from Itzao, like, that's not super hard. Grover gets so much healing that he's not even trying to get, but they really were just performing. I think they were firing all cylinders with their tank line, with their DPSs. They made so much room for FRZ.
I mean, look at the 2-10 for Rubu, 1-8 for Toki. The front lines of Envy were getting decimated this game. A lot of it on the back of this guy. Freeze God on the Bomb King. Again, a situational pick, but he makes it look good.
Yeah, we just talked about FRZ last game, but after how he performed this game, I don't think we can ignore him. Those King Bombs were so vital to winning the mid-fights that they did, especially when mid-fights are just so important on this map in general. Being able to go in and get multiple kills out of an ultimate that you don't normally get a ton of value from is massive, and it really did make the difference.
That's big space control right there. I mean, you see Toki and Rock Monkey just trying to make their way through on the right. Big King Bomb not only trades out with Random Noob, who just got a Dragon Punch kill, but stuns up Toki, prevents Envy from really rounding that right-hand side. So the space control, one of the main reasons you would pick Bomb King, certainly came out to play here. I mentioned the Strix. It was a quiet game for the Strix.
I mean, he had a great stall at the end.
Yeah, that's true.
That stealth, just
stealth
standing on
Strix,
top of the ramp, just sweating like, waiting
Hopefully
for
they don't
some-
see me, right.
Please don't find me. And it bought a little bit of time, but not enough to just get out of the way of the aggression from SSG. They had so many ultimates still up. Reanimate, so tough to deal with in those crazy overtime situations.
And definitely worked out for SSG. 4-3, 4-3, 4-2, all yellow, all day on the map screen. Frozen Guard staying icy for maybe the fourth and final map of the first set of this Thursday Meta Pusher. Trying to help Envy figure some stuff out here. Back to the Strix ban, but adding Cassie as well. Makoa Atlas banned out.
Seems like a bit of an Ares targeting almost by banning Cassie, because he's looked comfortable on the last 3 games in a row. So maybe Envy thinking that could be a weak point they can exploit, just forcing him onto a different champion. But I think he's been performing. If he's performing this well on Cassie, if he gets Leon or something, I don't think it's really that big of a hit. We'll have to see. And SSG have the second pick here, so Envy, I don't think they can really let Khan or Ashe through. Probably Ashe for this map, I would think. I mean, it depends on how Envy wants to play, but I would predict they would take Ashe here, and then SSG will get their preferred backline and the other off tank.
Well, looks like Barrack. It is Barrack for Envy. Not surprising so much in the front line or the point tank conversation, but maybe more so what they're foregoing, which is Ashe and Khan. Flip side, though, you don't imagine SSG will pick Ashe and Khan. You kind of limit yourself some of that point tank, but we have seen teams do that. I think Envy maybe are calling that bluff, saying you'll pick one or the other, we'll get what's left over.
Good night.
At least for the first 2 picks that works out. I don't know if Envy forgo Ashe another round and maybe test SSG, but Khan and Maeve for Space Station to start off their draft.
I think this actually tells a really big story here, just how this draft is starting. Just looking at this, Envy have kind of drafted a very similar thing, I feel, other than the Ice Mine specific draft. The first 2 maps, and now this one, they're taking the Barrack, they're taking the Genos. They're kind of going for what SSG have been going for the first couple of games they've been back in Phase 2. And SSG are doing something different that's countering them. SSG are now being a little bit more flexible. They're taking the Maeve there because they're saying, well, Ares can play this. If you're trying to target Ares, we'll put him on one of his most comfortable champions. I feel like SSG are showing a lot more flexibility, and Envy are still kind of just putting themselves in this one lane of, this is how we decided we would counter SSG in our team meeting before the day. It's not working. Do it harder, it's weird to me.
Well, that's always kind of the conversation surrounding Envy is they have their game plan, and if they kind of pop off, they will not be stopped by anybody. But it's maybe the adaptation that comes out. Sticking with Barrick, sticking with Leon, putting Rubu back on the Ashe. I mean, again, it's kind of that gamble of this is something we know we can make work, but whether this is the game where it works or not, it all depends on how they play. Ruckus being hovered, maybe with an Eevee. I mean, you talk about peak comfort for Envy. Maybe switch out Leon for a Cassie, but at any rate, Leon and Eevee for Rock and Random. You know, that's Envy's bread and butter at that point.
And you also get rid of the biggest counter to Eevee. I feel, especially on this kind of wide map. SSG still have a chance to get a solid backline though. I mean, Cassie banned, but even Victor at this distance will do pretty solid. But Vivian would be a interesting pick, I think, here. I think you'd probably rather have a backline that can have a little bit more range like Victor does. But you can make the Vivian work. It is a composition that has a lot of sustain with an Archon, so just keeping the Vivian close to the tanks will make things a little bit easier for her to not get pressured out too hard by the Ashe. But this is kind of a lot of pressure on Rubu. I mean, he's been doing okay on the Ashe, but not incredibly so far, I would say. But even just okay might be enough to pressure out a Vivian, depending on where Ares positions.
Well, that's the big thing when you talk about Vivian. Pressure her out, because if she's able to sit back, 70-round magazine, once that gets wheeled up, especially if you have Sentinels, regardless of range, well, not totally regardless. There is a range drop-off for Vivian, but in a lot of the distances that these teams will be fighting, certainly will be effective. Does SSG's draft kind of hinge on that Vivian, in your opinion?
I think so. I think if that consistent damage isn't there, the draft can fall apart. It really is going to come down to the off-tank and EV on Envy to how hard they can pressure Ares out.
Well, that's back to comfort for Envy, is the Barrack, Leon, Genos, Eevee, Ashe. That's their bread and butter. Looking for win number 1. Casters, take it away.
Envy looking for win number 1. SSG looking for their win number 4. Already 3-0 against Envy, man. I mean, I've already sang their praises enough, and the draft it is they have. I personally like it. Oh, that's so cute. I didn't know he had that.
Yeah, his little monkey puts it on his PC for every single set they play.
Well, I mean, like, I didn't know he had that intro, is how I should specify that. I've never seen that before. That's adorable. Anyway, back to the game. Frozen card. So, I mean, Vivian, Chris brought up the point that, you know, you will want to have a backliner with a little bit more range, less fall off that Vivian has, but it could still work against Eevee. It could still work to be able to shred these frontliners, which is what I think they opted to draft the Vivian for.
I mean, it's going to be able to burst through Khan's shield, which is going to cause a lot of trouble there. Or on the other side, how about burst through Ashe's shield as she comes through. But it's also going to just cause a lot of trouble for Eevee. I think that's the goal, is just make random noob less comfortable.
Right.
Have that pressure. You can put it on the point. You can go fight on the side up next to pillars. It's really up to you, and it doubles down. I mean, that barricade, you can see, doesn't stand up too well to him. Yes, his damage and his shielding will probably skyrocket with it, but as time goes on, if Wrecker is bought here by Ares, their shields are done.
Right, exactly. 42% for SSG. You see that Rubu and Rock Monkey went all the way around back just to make sure they got rid of FRZ. Looks like they heard your gore. They're definitely trying to put on the pressure at FRZ in the back line. 16 bullets left. Takes a reload for a second. Just a little bit of a breather. Of course, Metal and Ares are on the side here, trying to fire directly onto the point. Rachal's going to end up going down, though, and now they're pretty much just all sitting pretty on point, including Random Dude in this case.
Yeah, you need just more noise coming down from Ares, not just this fire coming down from the side that's getting decent poke. You need him to be finding a kill. Rock Monkey is going to be impeccable this game on the Leon. And while it felt like they were kind of ripping things out from underneath Ares that entire time, this is the first time, especially draft-wise, where Ares hasn't had something that at least can go toe-to-toe with the champion that Rock Monkey's playing it on. And if he's zoned in on this Leon as well, like we saw earlier, then it will make a huge difference. Although, it didn't affect as much on Fish Market, I think, as Envy would like, since they did still end up losing.
Exactly. I mean, they have the Ice Storm, the Enlightenment's up, and Surge Dominance coming up soon. Dread Serpent to try and find an opening, but just so happens that Toki gets the last shot right before he's feared to be able to get that kill onto mid tower. Rachal now looking at to be able to kill the rest of his team. Enlightenment follows through from Rock Monkey. They're really just trying to trade out 1-for-1 here, try and hold this aggression here. But Sadak went all the way around on the back and Surge Dominance just to make sure they don't end up dying in this case in this little 2-on-2 engagement.
Good kills from Freeze God could absolutely change the pace of the game. Good dismount right there, but it's just not focusing and not finding anything. I mean, you get the dismount, you get some distraction factor. With a minute and a half left, they're in the arguably hardest part of this push. It's a nice wide open area. Even with this little bit of cover, it's easy to track you down. It's easy to kind of keep you under wraps. They're having no issue with it, just walking it forward. It looks like SSG are going to be playing around in the base. And they even use the overpower for this. I don't know if it's as worthwhile, honestly, as they're treating it.
Well, I mean, they're definitely trying to find at least a chance at life here, considering the fact that they're watching for them to try and push out. Puts Envy's aggression a little bit on hold. We just see Mr. Hayes sort of just sitting here, of course, and the rest of Envy trying to bide their time to at least find a way to push in. SSG holding this bridge is going to be really difficult for them to be able to make it past. But now that Rubu's back, I'm sure they'll have a little bit of an easier time trying to fight against SSG.
A good shot, just a narrow miss there, though. Going to be coming through. Random Noob has Freeze God dialed up, and he, well, answers, unfortunately, for SSG fans. This is looking like a very solid fight. They're going to go for the seismic crash. That's still going in.
Yeah, Sadak already gets the kill on the Rubu, but Toki and Rock Monkey, they've already got 2 kills for their team on Envy's side. Taking down Sadak only means that now they have an opening 2-0 against SSG. This is the first time this set where we've seen 2-0 and not a 1-1 already.
I mean, it's big for SSG because they used a lot of ults to not find a defense there. I mean, they dropped the seismic crash. Sentinels came out, but, you know, with Ares, I believe, staying alive through that, won't have to deal with too much. But the overpower is used. Dread Serpent's going to be able to recharge, but, I mean, Envy felt little to no resistance at the very end there. A lot of good damage for them. Frozen Guard's feeling like a good home.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, already, once again, like most convincing we've seen from Envy so far, where it hasn't been a tie after the first round, already with the 2-0 lead. Made a good point, Gore. They don't really have a lot of ultimates up. Dread Serpent is coming up soon. 50% onto the overpower, but Midnight's really the only thing they have to bank off of coming into this next engagement.
I mean, good shots, good dome shield from Tolki. Really good to solidify himself. Point control. And, well, that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to get aggressive. He's going to kind of bonk Inara on the head twice with some blunderbuss shots, and then immediately just go for the dome shield. This kill, if Sadak chooses to kind of maybe press it, chase down, and figure out this Eevee, could make such a big difference, because if you get rid of him, that's Random Noob off the board. That means that Freeze God could potentially run for free.
Yeah, Random Noob, of course, all the way back to his base in this case. Enlightenment is up the Rock, of course, positioning with Rubu to be able to hit those shots that he needs to. Comeback mechanic, definitely a factor here. Rubu charges right past to be able to get that touch and to be able to try and stop Sadak from being in the back line. Dread Serpent as well. They're able to get the kill onto Rubu. But the question is, okay, yeah, they do actually end up getting Toki as well. Rock Monkey slides it a little bit too late, but he does get the kill over Chow. So they're going to be able to pressure a little bit better than they were before.
Classic comeback mechanic. Triple kill from Rock Monkey. Classic Rock Monkey coming in right after that, and pretty much exactly what you'd expect. With SSG kind of cinching that one right out from underneath Envy, finally being able to get a couple of those kills, and then just playing with the timer in a better manner against them. They'll charge up these ults. They'll be able to come back in, but I need to see something that's night and day comparison. They almost let Rock Monkey get out of that one alive. Causes way too much distress and trouble for it as it was. And if Random Noob can get in and do this, like, it's just Envy picking them apart one by one, side by side. They have to figure out how to deal with this.
Rubu got the hits he needs, but he's really just stuck between Anar, he's stuck between Khan, he really can't get out. Commander's got to go in, and then that leaves Rubu out of this little fight right here. Of course, FRZ does get a couple daggers from Mr. Hayes, which is going to net them that kill. They don't have a healer. Toki being up a little bit too far as well. He's just going to die, followed by Rock Monkey in this case. Random Noob trying to back off. Of course, FRZ knows where he is, throwing out those daggers, leaves him with less than half health. And both Random Noob and Rock Monkey are at the top of the damage tree.
Unsurprising. Random Noob is still undying as of just now. 3-0-9. He's been pressured out a lot, but no one has been able to lock him down long enough. And Rock Monkey, even though he's got 4 deaths, he's got 7 kills stacked up on it. He's got the Wrecker online. He's causing more trouble for Sadak than Sadak is really causing for him. And that's where these disconnects are happening. I think a lot of this is won on the sides by Sadak, Freeze God, and Rubu Random. And throw in a little flavor from Ares and Rock on either side every now and then, but a lot of it is how much pressure can the off-tank garnish? Like, how much can they command on the side from their team?
Yeah, of course, Random Noob is managing to land these shots right on the Khan. He does get the kill. Rock Monkey with a double in this case. Standing right behind Team Envy, of course. Random Noob finds a double of his own in this case as well. They have the Sentinels up. They have the Midnight. Seismic Crash is already here as well. They're getting the overpower, but they had to use the Dread Serpent during that last fight. Really one of the only ultimates it is they just ended up using during the engage. And on Envy's side, Dome Shield, Enlightenment, through time and space, Assert Dominance. They have the answers. It's just a matter of when they choose to use them. But a good shots onto Ares already and a kill on the FRZ. 2 kills down, 2 members on SSG down as well, 3-1. SSG could end up taking this.
Yeah, Envy are just playing this cleaner. They have, I think, hands down better draft when it comes down to it and with what they're trying to execute. And not only that, but they are executing it better than what SSG is able to pull out. They had some good moments in that round, and I expect to potentially see a little bit more of a lengthy game here from SSG. They've got some good tools in their arsenal going up on this one. I mean, with Seismic Crash, Sentinels being ready, and Overpower should be able to get a few kills, deal with some of these troubles that have been plaguing you, but Envy have just been knocking them back every time they step forward. If they step off on the wrong foot, SSG fall flat on their face, and Envy just kind of curb stomp them.
Right, exactly. I mean, Rachao already being able to move up. All of them just coming out of their base. They're about to have this little short mid-fight here. They have the Sentinels ends up being popped. Knock on the right side there, though, or really the left. This gets picked off. The rest of them just waited to see where he was going, or at least who would be the first one to step out. They get the kill on the Sadak. Ice Storm went out to make sure they got that kill onto Sadak. And I mean, Rockwick all the way in the back. Those FRZs there, through time and space hits. It's not going to find the kill.
Just trying to do whatever they can in terms of damage, and they're doing a lot.
Oh, wow.
But they do finally get rid of Random Noob. They end his streak as well, and they're going to be able to kind of keep him shut down. It's 46 now to 46, as Envy are going to be able to kind of pick up here. And with the overpower coming through, Sentinels online, SSG with comeback mechanic can still not only seal the deal, but steal this away from Envy now.
Yeah, they're pushing right. And then going right against the grain in this case, SSG is with the comeback mechanic still available. They'll have a chance to be able to make sure that they can, they'll be able to capture this point. They were able to get the touch, though. Toki goes in, or at least I believe tried to drop the Dome Shield in that case. But Ares ends up picking him right up. He's been firing for a while. So it's going to be hard for them to be able to try and back off. Rubu literally back against a wall in this case. Going to be able to be taken apart, and now they're going to be able to capture the point.
And being able to come through. Good stun right there as well. Get rid of Rock, get rid of Random, get rid of Mr. Hayes, and keep yourselves rolling forward. Much better start to the round this time around, than, or the push, I should say, this time around than they did the last round. And I mean, 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Usually, you're going to kind of get hold up right there where you see Rachao standing, quote-unquote, first choke point, right as you go under the underpass. And then you enter, well, the no man's land, a nice wide open realm at this point to deal with a lot of damage. Leon's going to have a little bit more of an advantage in these fights. Same thing I would even say for Barrick when it comes into this region.
He ends up dropping that Dome Shield immediately. Dread Serpent to follow through. Saw a little bit of that time on Dome Shield, as well as try to allow his team to be able to go in, get some damage onto him, possibly get a kill. Thankfully, Ares is there, able to actually get the kill on the Toki. Rock Monkey literally is at a sliver of health. They get rid of Toki, they get rid of Rock Monkey. Now look at that Random Noob and Rubu. I mean, like, they're getting the kills, Envy is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, SSG are just following up with so many of their own.
Now, the worst case scenario here, I mean, they got rid of the Dome Shield. If you push this in right now, actually, it's probably best case scenario, since Dome Shield won't be available, but it's going to be very difficult to try and keep it going at that pace, especially with Random Noob dropping his ult on you. It's going to slow things down, at least a little bit, not only you, but just the pace of the game here. SSG had to pull back a little bit, but 4 ults to 2 ults. If you can end the round sooner without having to invest too much, you're going to come into the last one with an advantage.
Mr. Hayes back through time and space. They've got the overpower. Midnight Sentinels once again in case Vivian ends up dying. Seismic Crash as well. Through time and space and assert dominance. They've got the tools it is that they need. They get the kill on the FRZ god though, so this is looking like a good defense for Team Envy, especially when you follow that up with a kill on Sadak.
And being able to jump down Random Noob, kind of fighting him a triple kill now from Rock Monkey as he continues burning through SSG. And even though there's 25 seconds left, I feel a touch in the future, but it depends very heavily on how aggressive Envy get. And I'm also going to say keep your eyes open for Maeve. She's actually locked down right here. She has the kind of capabilities that an Eevee has, that she could potentially slip through and get to that payload without anyone noticing.
Right, of course. I mean, FRZ is already going on the side here. Trying to deal with Rubu. Kinetic Burst to blow him back just a little bit. Shoulder Bash tries to even get the kill on FRZ. It's not going to be enough, though. That kinetic burst was just enough to be able to stall out both Inara and May from being able to touch that point.
I actually think that's more in SSG's favor.
Really?
I think there's two options for them there that end in, well, potential success. They push that before anyone on Envy can convert any of their ults back to full, and that would have been, what, about a minute and a half ago now that they would have had to do so. Or they keep it 3-2.
Right.
They keep a comeback mechanic enabled for their point capture. 4% every other tick as they're standing on there just to get a little faster than Envy, which puts a little more stress on Envy as they pay attention to the point. They have to kind of focus more on it, and they keep all their ults. And if SSG capture this, they can still convert and win. Like, this is one of the better scenarios to be in. It's still very dangerous because one mistake from you, Envy wins. But if they can start this off with a good kill, that's already a great start.
They trade out 1 for 1, though. They get the kill on the Ares, takes it through time and space with a Dread Servant to counter out Random Noob from diving right into that back line. Sadak gets a kill on Toki. So they've already gotten rid of 2 members of Team Envy. Dome Shield didn't get a chance to be used, neither did Ice Storm. And now Rubu's looking like he might end up dying too. And he does end up going down. Now SSG can get those dismounts and they can get the zone.
I mean, being able to come through. That guy over there, I see kind of blinking back and forth, wormholing forward this time around. Random Noob is going to be the one to keep your eyes on. He can not only prolong this, keep it in overtime, but let his team retouch. He has his Ice Storm, and he has a lot of kill potential on his back as well. Mitau going to stay alive just barely through this one. No, does go down with a shot from Tolki. That means no support for SSG.
They followed up just in the right amount of time. Follow that up with a Dome Shield, and you got yourself a very aggressive point fight already. Rock Monkey finds one onto Rachao, so that's already looking good for Envy. Daggers come out. They do get the kill on the Toki, but Rubu follows that right back up with the kill on Sadak. A good answer, and now Ares is going to go down as well.
I think Ares in that call needs to fall back a little faster. He's staying there for the aggression. Does leave them in a good position to deal with Rubu potentially, but it's 96%. You don't have to have that much pressure on the objective. You can let them get up to it. They're at 60% now. You're still going to be able to get the touch in and let your team fight back. It's up to Freeze God to kind of maybe crack the side shell. The rest of the team is lined up and ready to go in.
Yeah, they're finally able to make it back, and they're right back onto the point as well. Ares, of course, firing in the back line, but he gets picked off first. Because of that, man, that's going to be a huge shift in the change of SSG's lineup here. They do get the kill on the mid tower after that. FRZ goes down. Sadak Rachao is going to be the last, and that is going to be it for SSG this game. Envy's first win against SSG.
And, well, couldn't come any sooner for them at this point, being able to kind of catch it right before they get 4-0, keep themselves alive. But at the same time, I mean, that draft phase just feels bad from SSG. I mean, there's a lot of things that go right for them, but Envy get, from top to bottom, picks that they love, picks that they are very good on, and that synergize all incredibly well together. And it has to come down. I just don't know if that Vivian was anywhere near the mark that you want when you pick that Vivian, you lock her in. Her job is to kind of fill what Strix would have done in that scenario, what Victor would have done in that scenario, or what Leon could have done in that scenario. And it didn't hit any of those. It didn't really create the zone or the damage I think that Ares wanted.
Well, they had the options there, didn't quite take it at the same time. Envy, in response, takes that game on Frozen Guard. This is looking at a chance of life for them at least, but we'll see how they continue to do right after this break.
Skillshot, the official production partner of the Paladins Premier League.
Well, no 4-0 for SSG today. Envy grabbed themselves a pretty convincing win on Ice Mines. Came down to some ticky-tack moments there towards the end, but Comfort wins the day for the boys in blue. And that's really what it was, is you know, maybe Aries a little bit too far forward there at the end. A big end fight, but everything comes up blue.
Yeah, definitely some panic there at the end. I feel the assert dominance from Rubu, a little forced. Don't think it was needed. Aries trying to make something happen on the far left, walks just a step too forward and opens things up too much for Envy to be able to dive onto him. And great performance, I think, across the board.
Yeah.
From Envy. The tanks were doing a pretty good job at delaying with their ultimates. That assert dominance notwithstanding, Dome Shield on the point at the very end kind of sealed things up. When heals were down for Space Station, it just bought so much time.
Well, that's what you look for when we talk about Envy and picking Comfort. You look at their backliners, Rock Monkey and Random Noob, most specifically, of course, Toki, Rubu, and Hayes. You know, notwithstanding right at this specific conversation, but Rock Monkey and Random Noob, you look for them to get comfortable. You look for them to be able to do 6 digits worth of damage. Random Noob at a 17 streak, 105,000 damage. Good for top in the game on the Eevee. But this man, Rock Monkey, you've given him Leon a few times in this set. He's looked great on it, and this game is certainly no exception.
This is the first time I caught him a win, too, and he had so many clutch moments, I think, with these, like triple kills. Finding the cleanup at the end of fights was massive, just always being able to be there. And Leon's super powerful on this map. It is very wide, so having those long sight lines up for him to be able to play around was really impactful. And finally, his performance on Leon was enough to grab them a win.
And you kind of mentioned, you know, if you're going to go Eevee for Random Noob, Leon is kind of one of the counters maybe to Eevee on Frozen Guard. And on the flip side, you saw that last minute clip in that sort of highlight reel where he was able to get the better of Freeze God on the Maeve. That's an interaction that we saw a few times throughout that game. Important for Envy to grab the win there, I think, if nothing else, just to get themselves some sort of momentum in the set. But can't forget, they played twice in Split 1. Both of those were 4-1s, so definitely not out of the woods yet. You still got to win 3 more, but at least, if nothing else, some momentum.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm not too shocked that Envy won that purely because, I mean, look at SSG's bans recently. Yeah. They've been banning Ice and Frozen.
Sure.
They won Ice, even after banning it a lot Phase 1. Frozen, the other ban, they didn't ban this set, went through, and it's not too shocked that I think Envy would win a map that clearly SSG don't want to be playing. But now we're moving into comfort maps for SSG, most likely. You know, it's going to be SSG's picks for the rest of the set, more or less. Even if it goes to Game 7, SSG will be picking every map until then. And I would not be surprised to see if SSG are going to a comfortable map for them. It's got to be Serpent, right?
I guess it does, right? Bright Marsh was banned out. That's sort of a tried and true map per se. But you're right. I mean, we get down here to Game 5. Envy only winning now Frozen Guard from their map picks. They pick Fish Market, lose that one 4-3. SSG then answer back with Splitstone, win that one. So now you're kind of getting outside of that comfort pick category per se. I mean, you're picking, I guess, your third map unless the enemy team has already picked it. That's all ticky-tacky. But Envy now are just looking for something that maybe they have an interesting strategy on, maybe just something where they've done well in scrims to move into Game 5.
And I think they're going to stick with the same ban strategy that they have, if it's even viable to do on second pick. Banning the Cassie was smart. It did force Aries onto that Vivian, or somewhat force them. I think there were other options, but that's what SSG decided to do. On second pick, they're going to have to ban those powerful tanks. If they ban one, they can't let SSG get the only one that's remaining. It'll give them too much influence, I think, on the game, kind of take things almost out of Envy's hands.
You know, we've seen Willow banned out a few times throughout this set, but haven't seen it really picked at all. I mean, I know some of it's been map dependent, pick ban dependent. She has been banned out a couple of times. Maybe map 5 is somewhere where she'll go. You thought about Serpent Beach, and it is indeed. This certainly is a Willow-esque map, and it depends on what teams look to ban. Strix has been another conversation to have regarding bans. Not going to get to see Willow. You do get to see her on your screen here. Not going to get to see Strix either. Heavy ban him out. So 0 for 2.
Guys, I think our feed is bleeding into the player booth.
Yeah, I guess it must be. It must be. Smart bans, though, for both teams. Get some of that offensive presence off the table. Makoa for SSG. Can't imagine anything else but the Atlas for Envy. This is the difference. I mean, when Torvald's in a spot where not really going to ban him, not really going to pick him, it opens up to some different, in this case, backline bans where it's always been kind of that one flex. Now you get 2 with Strix most notably from Envy.
And it's I get why they're banning these characters. They're so fresh into the meta that some people don't really want to deal with them.
Right.
Strix, I think specifically, because Willow is clearly very good. I mean, we've seen her perform phenomenally in almost every time she's been picked. The Strix is more of a new thing, and teams just don't really want to deal with it because he's so influential in the hands of these highly skilled players. SSG first picking Khan. That's to be expected, I think. And Envy kind of sticking with the Barrack early. Yeah. Trying to deny it from SSG, even though I think Xiao's had a fantastic performance across the board today on Inara.
Yeah, I don't think there's been much drop-off from the Barrack to the Inara for Space Station Gaming. Talkie with some good dome shields on Frozen Guard to help seal Envy's first win of this set up. SSG looking for the Eevee and maybe keep Xiao on the Inara, and they do just that. So a strong first 3 core picks for Space Station Gaming. Envy notably going for the Cassie over the Leon here. Cassie's been kind of a favorable ban a couple times here and there. They're going to pick her up. And Ashe as well round out the Envy's first 4 picks.
And that's good for aggression up top with them. Again, Genos for Mr. Hayes been performing pretty well on it, even though it hasn't really been carrying them to too many wins. One. Specifically.
Right, one.
But it does give him a chance to be aggressive, and this is interesting from SSG if they go with this Kinessa. It does kind of deny some aggression from Envy because they can just hold that Kinessa up top on the torch area to watch that high ground platform. As soon as, if they want to come across, if they want to send Rubu all the way into the enemy backline, that's straight in the face of Kinessa, and that's a lot of damage that they're not really going to be able to answer because I don't think they'd be running Slug Shot.
And, you know, and I look at the Kinessa, I mean, it's an obvious question, but it's got to be Freeze on the Eevee and Ares on the Kinessa, right? I say it's obvious. It should be, right.
It should be. We have seen Ares play Eevee. There have been some double, but that's specifically with, like, double blaster for SSG. And usually it's more Ares afterwards laughing about, like, I had a better KD than you on Eevee.
Right.
So I have a feeling it's going to be Ares, Kinessa, FRZ, Eevee. And Ares has the potential. I mean, we talk about Ares kind of like inconsistency because he's absolutely had those moments. He's had those fairly high carry potential moments, but he's definitely one of the more inconsistent backlines. It's risky putting him on snipers because of that, but it's not like he can't have that kind of carry level performance that you need.
Well, they hover the emoji again, Envy too. This time it is probably because it's right next to Maeve in the alphabet. Maeve locked in for Team Envy. Envy looking for their second win of the set. Again, kind of back to a similar play style for Envy. Get themselves some comfort picks, grab yourself the Barrack, and then Ashe or Khan, whichever is left over, pair it with a Genos, and Envy are feeling okay.
And it did get them a win on the last map. But this is a map that SSG are much more comfortable on, and they have a more, I think, consistent. Oh my God, I don't know what just happened there. A more consistent backline in Kinessa versus Vivian can play a lot safer, and that's going to make things a lot easier into the Ashe and Maeve. The problem last time was that they could just get onto Ares whenever, and now he's going to be playing that crazy distance, make it much more difficult.
Yeah, much further back for Ares this time around. SSG, one more game to close out the set. Let's go.
I'm really interested in this Kinessa pick to see how it's going to be able to hold up against Maeve. Of course, against Cassie, it'll be a lot easier, but I feel like drafting this Kinessa, that's going to have to pop off extremely hard, or at least be able to put on enough pressure to where Envy is scared to really move forward to try and combat the Kinessa.
What's the opposite of an advocate? Because I've been heavily against Ares on snipers in the past, and I'm still kind of in it. I guess a naysayer. I've not believed in Ares as much. That comes through. A hater is what Blake says in our ears as it comes through. Yeah, I guess so. I've been an Ares sniper hater that has been coming through. But honestly, like Kresnik said, he has the potential. He absolutely can make this Kinessa look really good. He just has to perform. Right now, today, in this game, sometimes he's here, sometimes he's not. And I think right now, up 3-1, it's the time. It feels right.
Yeah, I mean they got some time to be at least a little bit flexible, even if they not end up closing this one out. Of course, Kinessa waiting up all the way in the back. She's going to be positioning herself across all of the high grounds she possibly can, but at the same time, trying to at least apply enough shots or enough pressure for them not to feel like they can peek.
Well, right now, Envy are up 50% to 15. And these shots just aren't connecting from Ares, but somebody else is going to get first blood. Sadak going to be able to put his team on the list. Freeze God going to get aggressive with him. That should be 2 tanks gone now.
Yeah, I mean, Rubu follows soon after that, I mean, it's really just FRZ's on the side, of course, watching out for that Mave, but the percentage is just slowly building for Rachao. Of course, Knessa all the way back here. Really just trying to keep as much line of sight as she possibly can. Links out with a teleporter, firing shots, doesn't get the kill, but FRZ is able to clean it up for him.
It's one of those moments. It's probably going to take a little bit, I think, for Aries to get fully acquainted to it, but it needs to start having a different performance than it is so far. Looking to potentially try and, well, not get the throw here. He's going to get as much damage as he can. Nice Dread Serpent as well to separate the team and just cause some trouble for Envy.
Yeah, oh, nice stun immediately from Midtown to be able to follow that up right after the Dread Serpent. The man's doing his job extremely well. Midnight, they want to be able to drop right down onto Midtown. They do end up picking him off, but Conscious on the point, and they end up capturing.
It's that perfect moment. Tolki was just low enough and just close enough to Sadak that he didn't really care about the Midnight. He was like, cool, my target's right there. He's small, but I can still see him and chase him down, burn him through, and then no one else, I think, was prepared for that death to happen on Envy. No one in a really good position to capitalize on it either. And so Sadak just going to be able to kind of walk away with that and start walking this payload forward.
Of course, he uses the wormhole to be able to fire the shot in and then immediately move back. They get the kill on the Ares once again. FRZ is able to clean that up for him in this case. This is a little bit about what I was talking about how this Mave is definitely an issue for the Knessa.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be causing a lot of trouble. It's one thing, I mean, you can see a Mave go up to Rakata, maybe a Mave go up to Rock Monkey or an Invocal, and it's a 50-50 who's coming out of there, right? If they hit that first shot, then you have a Mave that's not feeling as confident about their fight. But when you step to Ares, it's less likely that you're going to have that flick shot come through. It's just the only way I can think to word it. He's just not as nuanced on those champions, on snipers, as he is on others that have come through. He's definitely been able to get better with them, but this Knessa slowly but surely starting to find its home. It's definitely pulling random noob away, though, and giving kind of Sadak and Freeze the freedom to fight around.
Try to use the Commander's Grab to try and cancel out that shoulder charge, but of course he was getting stuck a little bit on that corner. Couldn't actually grab the Ashe in that case. Definitely reaching for it. Overpower ends up coming through. We do manage to get on the Toki, though. That's going to already be pretty big. In fact, they were able to obviously get rid of that point presence for them. Dress over to come out. They knew exactly where they were. They're going to be able to try and follow up with the damage on Random Noob. They do get the kill on him, but Rachao is going to end up going down.
I mean, trading it out. Sadak's still kind of hanging around, but not enough of the team to really enable some sort of aggression. 30 seconds left. I kind of admire his tenacity to try and hold the high ground, but I think it's a smarter idea. Drop down, regroup with the team. 20 seconds left. They can still get an overtime touch. If they get a kill onto Rubu or Tolki, still very much in the realm of possibility. They just have to figure out how to deal with, well, the side damage. That shot almost connecting for Freeze God.
Yeah, I mean, he's able to leave Random Noob looking low. At least leaving a little bit shook. He's going to blink up, fire once again onto Random Noob. Maeve actually does end up getting hit. He's throwing out these daggers, of course, applying damage to the shield. Big game damage. It's going to be a little bit too much for Anar to deal with. She's going to fall as well. And really, they're just able to hold their ground, man. I mean, they're firing, like Rock Monkey's switching between both the EV and the Con. And with the kill it was they got on Rachao, it's going to be a little bit harder for them to be able to follow that one up.
A little bit more pressure, I think, for Knessa. It's very difficult to adapt, I think, the snipers to the push on this map. There's a little bit of area early on where you absolutely can get long lines of sight, long range, to be able to kind of find your scopes. Once you come around that last corner where SSG just kind of had the defense held against them, it's very difficult unless you are able to get hyper aggressive. I mean, you have to get in there, get into the carry corner, and make a big difference. But I mean, you get 6-1-4 for Freeze God. You get 5-0 for Sadak. 0-5 there for Ares. That's where the disconnect is going to have to happen, or is happening. And for Envy, that's their bet. That's where you can pull this team apart and potentially still win this game and make it a 3-2.
Firing at Rachao already. Of course, both of these frontliners are locked in a dance of death over here on the mainly on the point. FRZ and Random Noob are also pretty low. This small little engager right here. He blinks in to try and get a shot. Doesn't quite hit, but he is going to be able to apply that pressure both onto the front line like he He's able to. He blinks in, soars as well. Not going to find the kill, but a Dread Serpent to try and peel for them on the right side is going to allow Ares to be able to get a kill. Nice snipe coming out from him, too.
And it's going to be 2 targets that are pretty much set up for him, Silver Platter, but that headshot might make a difference. Random Noob gets rid of him, goes over the wall, stays alive in this scenario, but does get forced out a little bit. Freeze God kind of prowling on the hunt to find Maeve. As of right now, it's not really going either way. No shots connecting from either of the flanks. A little bit of damage on the Random Noob, but he shrugs it off like it's nothing.
75%, and now we're looking at 93. It's slowly climbing to a 33% that Envy already has, but they get Rock Monkey. They just want to be able to get that pick to be able to try and capitalize on the point. Now Random Noob and Rubu are going to be in the back line. The assert dominance. Commander grabs him right out of there. Of course, they're going to be able to stand up, body block him as well. They do get it, and because of this, now they're down a frontliner wall to go up so he can contest just a little bit. FRZ's going to go to try and blink in to be able to at least sit on the point, but they get Matau out of the way. So they also get Rachao done too. I mean, I don't think they're going to be able to do, especially since they don't really have any more ults to really throw at them.
Well, Sadak went in, Sadak went down. Ice Storm was dropped on the point. The damage is being dealt. The slows are out there, and Rachao is back. He's going to be able to touch down and get the overtime. 96 to 99. They're trying to stay alive, but at this point, you don't have the support. You don't have the damage kind of keeping you alive that Envy had.
Yeah, I mean, oh my goodness, FRZ, dude, he's been single-handedly stalling this so heavily. The Dread Serpent, did they get, okay, I was about to say, oh my goodness, they can't, there's Sadak's out of the way, Matau's gonna go down next. My goodness. FRZ stalled that the entire time that fight was going on. He was able to get that overtime so frequently that it was enough for Rachao to be able to come back, die again, and then Sadak take his place. They almost got that.
They held on to it. I mean, that Dread Serpent, you maybe pick up a kill in that onto Tulki, and we might be watching a different story fold out right now. A couple of changes could have been made towards the end there, but they did the best with what they had as SSG. And kind of backs against the wall. I mean, they threw pretty much literally anything and everything they had at it to see what they could do. But Envy still walk away with that one. If they can push this in, they can find themselves up 3-1. And the good news is Random Noob, well, save for that death right there, can get up to the high ground, can cause trouble for Ares, who's going to be up there, can cause trouble for Freeze God, who's probably going to make kind of his home to blink down from. And so keep your eyes on him to maybe play a big role in this.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the Dome Shield ends up going down as well to be able to zone people out of that little orange room. Of course, to be able to allow his team a chance to be able to flood it and try and get into the positioning they need to be in. Shoulder Bash featuring Rubu comes right in there, but he's going to be able to be blocked off just a little bit by a good, well-placed wall from the Inara. No one's really able to get in yet, but a lot of people are poking at each other.
Just expecting something big. I was expecting something explosive, I think, from the Maeve.
Yeah.
And then it didn't happen. It just kind of came through. Did hit a couple of daggers, but didn't knock anything out of the park. Sadak finds the kill there. That might just slow it down, honestly, enough to stall out another 20, 30 seconds worth here for SSG as they have to kind of retake it. Holding on to the corner as well, the carry corner. Don't let Cassie set up in there, or else she's going to get pretty much the positioning you would want out of a Kinessa. Speaking of Kinessa, Midnight coming through is going to cause a lot of trouble for Ares back there, but Random Noob doesn't seem to know where to go to get him.
Dread Serpent actually ends up going out, of course, to peel. Probably set up just a little bit of free damage onto the individuals on Team Envy. Of course, a Doc plays right up here, allowing that storm of bullets to really do some work. Hulky. And I mean, can I actually see the slash lines real quick? I'm genuinely curious about the Kinessa. Yeah, it's rough. It's a rough game for Kinessa.
Yeah, been able to pick up a couple of kills, but, well, a couple of deaths since the last time we checked in. It was 0-5, now it's 3-8. So 3-3 this round, significantly better overall, but you're going to have to see how well he can continue this hold, how much damage he can continue to pump out if you're Ares to maybe open this up. Overtime's still going, and he's going to make the big difference. There's a really good kill immediately onto Rockman.
They had to use the Seismic Crash, though, to try and set something up, but if it means that you just don't end up going up against Envy 3-1, then I can respect it in this case. They are being able to push Toki out of the payload range to stop that contention from happening. 2-2 already, SSG versus Team Envy.
Being able to focus it down. Big plays that round, actually, early on from Ares. Very good at closing it out as well. Just that one kill was able to make the difference. It was a kill. Well, 1 onto a Genos, 1 onto Nash. Dread Serpent making it a little bit easier to line up there. The time and space kind of made it where Mr. Hayes was, but you can't take away the credit of being able to find those shots and hit them under pressure. 4-9 now, as it's 9-3 and 12, 9-2 and 10 for Sadak and Freeze. Definitely the ones that are keeping this team afloat more than anything. And I mean, if they continue to have this kind of performance, if Ares can step his up or match what he did last round, Envy might be in trouble.
1,282 damage on Rock Monkey. Once again, he's looking a little bit similar to how we did the beginning of the setup started. Through time and space, finds its mark on the Ares. He goes down 18% to 6% on Team Envy, but now they've got that kill on Ares. Now they're able to zone. Now the percentage is going to start building in their favor.
Predictability is a weakness in and of itself. Ares has gone to the same spot at the beginning of the round for 3 rounds now. And, well, that time around, it kind of bites back with him finding that ult to the face. And he's going to be able to come back in and probably be mostly untouched. The team can still hold out for this, but that garnished 69% here for Envy on the point.
Okay, Dome Shield ends up going down just to be able to get that little bit of damage onto Rachao. It's going to be enough to be able to kill him, of course. 3 members of SSG are down. Mental's probably going to be the next one to fall. Ares is more than likely going to be the last, but actually manages to teleport his way right out of there.
Now, I don't know how much this is going to track. It's going to depend on the rest of the game, but Vivian last game, the Kinessa this game, right now it is falling down onto the pressure Ares had in the first 3 that won them a ton to the lack of pressure he's having in these last 2. That is making the biggest difference for SSG. I mean, they just don't have someone else to rely on outside of Sadak and Freeze God. And if Freeze God goes down, which admittedly he's 1,800 health, even with all the best mobility in the game, you're going to fall down with that kind of against you. You need something.
Right.
You need someone to pick something up a little bit more. And he's been finding some decent shots, but it just hasn't been converting to kills as much.
Yeah, I mean, he goes right back in the base. Man, oh man, the Ice Storm ends up coming out, but FRZ just ends up going down soon after that. Sadak, in this case, is going to follow suit. And with Envy having a minute 25, even if they still end up losing, it's already so much in their favor. Ares does get a kill on the random noob, though. And the Dread Server to go out just to give themselves some space.
I mean, they're going to be able to walk this one in. It's looking like they don't have too many bodies. Kind of holding them back. Headhunter going to get popped from Ganessa. It's going to be doing a lot of damage, actually. Sadak getting aggressive as well, at least holding this one off. But there's still a minute left on the clock. And Envy, they didn't die. They can just regroup.
Yeah, Sadak, of course, is able to grant his team an opening right there. But Random Noob has still been up in this spot since they pushed up this far. Of course, he's throwing out the daggers to be able to not only zone out mid-tower, but also be able to deal with FRZ God. In this case, 45 seconds left on the clock, where Chao's pretty much just dancing around on the horse, dismounts, of course, to be able to make sure he can actually stay alive, or at least try to contest the points. And Doc is getting a lot of shots on the random noob, but he's still going to be able to walk out alive.
Being able to find that, a couple of good daggers from the top down, dancing around. We got 30 seconds left. The payload's right there. Rachao, half health, wow. And there's going to be a dome shield to try and find the zone.
Yeah, I mean, they already are trying to burn Rachao. They do get him as well. Sadak, Ares, both of them gone out of the game. Random Noob and Toki are going to be able to find not only Toki's double kill, but Random Noob's 1 kill, making up a total of 3. And that's going to be able to net them this following game, dude.
Can't slice it any other way. Yeah. Kinessa, Vivian. These are the 2 picks so far. Ares is piloted. They haven't hit what they've needed to. Envy get things that are comfortable. Envy get things that are working well for them. And SSG grab not only fringe picks, but things that historically haven't worked well for Ares. And, well, there's the reason I always say that. The reason that I'm a naysayer for Ares on snipers is just that it was a 4v5 for the team. They fought really, really well, except for the lack of presence from the 5th member. There was just no real sniper shots that were impactful for a majority of that game.
Well, game 5 in the books already for Team Envy. They could very well be able to turn this one around. Serpent Beach in the books. In this case, right after this break, is game 6.
Respawn, the official gaming chair of the Paladins Premier League.
Well, it looks like we got a set on our hands. Envy are able to win 2 straight. They're down 3-0. Now we're at 3-2. Still SSG on set point, but a big fight back there from Envy to move 1 step closer to tying this one up and get a reverse sweep started. And you figured it would be Serpent Beach. It was Serpent Beach. Knessa was the pick. Knessa was kind of hit or miss, more miss maybe that game.
Ares was doing respectable damage, but it was just tough for him to find those confirms, those kills that he needed to, I think, on Knessa. When you're picking Kin, that's mostly what you're looking for.
Right.
Strix is kind of the raw damage sniper. And he top damaged on his team in the game, well, right below random, but top damage on his team, and it just wasn't enough to swing it. He was still getting pressured quite a bit, and I think the rest of the tanks on the team were doing a good job. Sadak was pressuring a lot on the other side, but they weren't. I don't think they were letting them into them more enough.
Sure.
That you kind of want to get pushed a little bit when you have that Knessa. Force them into that slight line instead of pushing them back and having your Knessa have to extend to chase those kills.
Well, I mean, you look at Tulki as well. If we're just looking at damage numbers, I mean, 105,000 damage on the Barrack is effectively good enough to tie the top damage for SSG side of things. So Tulki, big game on the Barrack as well. I mean, random noob, you know, the comfort conversation that's been the buzzword of this set. Maeve has been good for random noob, but Tulki, big stalwart on the NB front line.
Yeah, I think so for sure. I think he got the better of Rochelle a lot because Mitao had to focus so much on getting kills on the side. And Tulki noticed that, I think, that Rochelle wasn't really getting the heals that he needed in some of these situations, and just hard-focused Rochelle, really winning out those dome shields, very impactful both in the mid-fight and on this final capture that led to them managing to take one of SSG's favorite maps.
And again, notice 14 streak for Hayes. I mean, the Genos performance from him has kept up, and that Genos Barrack combination, even just in drafts, I mean, we know what it brings to the table, but also specifically between Hayes and Tulki. He's got some victory in his eyes. Hopefully he's not rubbing it all out because he needs 2 more to complete the comeback over SSG. A little bit tired, I would maybe to start off the set, but now starting to come into it. Oh, he's back. he had stopped and then went back in for the hour. His eyes will be fresh. They'll be ready to go.
They better be after that.
Yeah, I hope so for Game 6. Tulki's been kind of a consistent, strong performer for Envy throughout the day.
I mean, he's never, I think, been that highlight tank outside of, you know, Summit 5 plays. Maybe we can talk about that sometimes, but not this game so far. On Barrack pretty consistently and just really doing exactly what they need on Envy. And I think now that the rest of the team's kind of firing all cylinders, it's opening up Tulki to pop off just a little bit more.
I mean, despite the scoreline being 3-2, momentum now is kind of starting to breeze behind Envy. They win 2 straight, 1 more to tie up this set. Let's see what map number 6 has in store for us, because, again, this is one where you'll be able to tie up this set, 2 more, and you take a win. Shattered Desert it is.
I was guessing Jag, but I was wrong.
Oh, I thought you said Shattered.
No, I
Jag.
said Jag. No, I would love to take that credit, but I'm not going to today. And Shattered, another map that SSG tend to like. I remember it kind of helped them flip the momentum in that Renegade set, Phase 1, when Renegades had the upper hand. I know they had a really swift 4-0 win to flip things around, and it makes sense for SSG to want to go back here. They actually opt to take second pick as well. So they clearly have a plan going in, but these bans from Envy paid off a lot last time, and they're going to start with the Barrack again, put Tulki something he's comfortable with, and apparently push Rochelle off of that comfort as well.
I mean, Envy are feeling good. Copy and paste our picks and bans, I guess, from the last couple of games, and we'll be okay with it. Of course, SSG now have the pick of Ash Khan. They've elected in the previous couple games to go one or the other. Maybe foregoing both here. Also realizing maybe it's a flip of what we saw from Envy last game, where they realize Envy already have their point tank. They're likely just going to pick one of Ash or Khan. But they already have Ruckus do you really want to stick an Ashe or a Khan, whatever's left over, with an already aggressive off tank like a Ruckus?
I think that just depends on how the rest of the draft evolves, because
Sure.
you can go Ashe Ruckus and just play very aggressive.
Sure.
That is kind of the plus forward, I will not stop kind of composition if you want to go that way. That also would pair very well with a Furia if you want to be using that Inflame plus the Midnight to really get in there. Ruckus is really good on these open maps. You can kind of play, a lot of mobility lets him get in, and he can buy enough time with the emitter to distract for the rest of his team to make something happen.
Yeah.
Yes, Sadok's stat line will probably look terrible at the end of the game if he plays like that, but
They might get the win.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That usually leads to the
Map
win.
number 1 of today, where everyone on Envy on Fish Market is popping off. The slash lines look great, but SSG, they win the game. I mean, that's a good example. Maybe not specifically to Ruckus there, but same idea. Look at Envy, get Barrack. They're going to hover Leon for Rock, Eevee for Random
Next
Noob.
time you see my banners,
That's been that's kind of been the 1v1. We did it in King of the Ring yesterday. Eevee versus the Mave. Well, Eevee versus Eevee, then Mave versus Mave. But it's been back and forth between Eevee and Mave for either of these teams. They save maybe a Bomb King or a Drogoz here and there. Haven't really pivoted outside of the Eevee Mave picks.
Yeah, and it makes sense just having high mobility in this level of play. You want it. You want to, because just being that mobile opens up opportunities for you. If you are a low mobility class, low mobility champion, you can't cover that same distance that you'd expect. So you can't be passive, waiting for them, and then immediately jump in with your team. You have to be kind of around a corner and open yourselves up to counterplay from the enemy if you do end up like that. So I see why they are so popular at this level.
Yeah.
It does make a lot of sense. And I can see why Mave is kind of rising up too, because not only does she win that 1v1 a lot of the time, but she can be played either way, right? Because we don't know if that's an FRZ Mave or an Ares Mave, depending on if that last pick is a Vivian or a Bomb King. You know, it really could still go either way.
SSG leaving their cards a little bit closer to their chest. Hovering the Genos, going to pivot to the Furia now, though. That's a strong support pick, especially for Shattered Desert. Pair that with a Midnight. Your team's going to get very aggressive all at once, and maybe that's why they pair the Khan in there, that sudden aggression from a team fight.
Yeah, and Khan's definitely the better off-tank to throw on the point if you do want that kind of aggression. I think he's better at sustaining, especially on a map as flat as Shattered Desert. Not having that verticality to go over his shield. And I don't know where SSG are going to end up with this. I hope it's not Vivian again. I'm going to say that now and hope they can hear me, because I really don't think Vivian would be the pick. Maybe Ruckus can take a little bit of aggression away from her, but Ashe, Leon, Eevee are kind of going to pick her apart. I would expect more of maybe a Victor. You could even maybe go Tyra, but Shaw could be an option too with Cassie and Leon off the table.
Is that something you're happy about?
I'm happier than Vivian for sure. Having that Yeah, that shield break ability, and there's actually a decent amount of corners on this map where you can get stuns, especially if you're pushing into the enemy team's payload capture. They're usually all hugging that left wall, and Impaler Arrow is super valuable there.
Well, this is going to be hyper-aggression all at once, seemingly, from Space Station, and Envy are going to have to kite backwards. Again, kind of that copy-and-paste draft for Team Envy. It's worked out the last couple of games. Is this really hinging on Envy's ability to kite backwards under the SSG aggression?
Yeah, and I actually think if any team would be able to do that, it has to be Envy, right? Think about their last victory against NIP when they just shoved triple tank in their face all game. They kited away from 3 front lines the whole time. That's not easy. And they can pull it off again, even against this aggressive comp, I think.
I'm sad. I'm just thinking, for some reason, that made me think about the Victor we saw on Monday that just sprinted around over and over and over again. Game 6, Envy looking to tie it up. Let's do it.
Yeah, here we go. Already up on Shattered Desert, the Sha Lin. President brought up a good point. You don't have Cassie, you don't really have the Leon. Sha Lin, not as common of a pick, but a pick that you will see brought out in situations like this.
Yeah, fills the same role and admittedly can do a lot more. I think Shattered Desert's a good map for him. Good place to find a lot of little impales to get some stuns, as well as an interesting spot. There's some been fun angles with this to get planted shots, either onto the tank or onto the side. So Ares going to have that kind of pushing up against him. I actually would have, if you had asked me, made the bet that this was going to be Freeze God with Ares on the Mave. He's going to be going recurve this time around. Faster shots all throughout the game. We'll have to see what exactly he's going to be able to do with him. Very solid against Eevee if he can find the right trace.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't manage to land a nice shot. 975 immediately onto that Barrack. We see that Random Noob blinks in, of course, and he has to be able to back right back out. Ares is really just waiting around these quarters, 50% to 6%. Both of them really just have toe tip, or at least toe touch worth terms of percentages up on the point, but now we're starting to see the bigger numbers here as the fights are becoming more determined. Sadok's really just holding this angle right here. Stashes in, then moves his way right back out with the emitter shield up to be able to get that damage off. 42% for SSG already, though.
It's perfect from SSG, though. They don't need the fight. They don't need first blood. They don't need kills. They just need the pressure that they're kind of locking Envy down with. Envy haven't been able to kind of step up. It's 57 now to 39, and it's just been because of that amount of damage coming from the sides, pretty much all around. Envy are going to have to figure out how to tackle it. One little bit of aggression from Rock Monkey and a good bout of bullets could get rid of Freeze, could get rid of a huge chunk of damage here on the side.
Right, yeah. I mean, they get that reset off for Maeve right here, and of course the two of these guys going to be going at it the entire time. He gets Void Gripped right onto the point, blinks up and used the Battle Shout to prevent himself from actually getting killed in this case. And a good, well-timed Battle Shout is going to allow him not only to live, but then to be able to get the kill on Toki and force him off the point. Nice daggers from FRZ as well.
Being able to find that, trace the shot in the air, and be able to come down. 87% to the 96 Envy were able to pick up, but with Rubu going down, it's looking like this is SSG all day.
Yep, 1 point already for SSG. And I really like the Shaolin. I mean, I want to see like the damage numbers so far. Yeah, exactly. That's why I was going to bring it up. He's been hitting these shots. He's been doing his thing this entire game pretty much. Him and Maeve have very clearly been holding these corners really, really well. And you brought up a good point, too. They're not really committing the fights all the way.
Well, they don't need to. They have the range that's coming through. Rock Monkey wasn't standing really in a position to find any good vision on anyone. And with the amount of trouble that they've been causing the tanks on the point, like Toki, when he finally got up there, that's when First Blood broke through.
Right.
They have the damage on their side, even when some of it does get returned. I mean, no deaths yet for SSG, so they've been able to kind of skirt through that without any issue. And soon enough, they're going to have an Inflame. They have all of the tools to be able to find this. And now that Ares is back on something he's comfortable on, you're feeling the impact again.
Yeah, of course, though. Bo, he's really just sitting right here, right around this corner, trying to wait to see if he can get a stun or anything, just holding it pretty, and then he lets go of it. Doesn't want to actually commit to that entirely. Doesn't want to keep waiting there. Good overpower, though, on Narubu. It's going to be the start of something, especially the fact that Mid-Tower gets one on the Rock Monkey, FRZ, right on the random noob. The trade now 3 kills already for nothing. It's a 3-for-1 deal. Ooh. Make it a 4-for-1. It's Black Friday already. They're getting plenty of sales today on SSG's name. 1:05 still on the clock.
Being able to find this, I mean, streaks burning from the top down for them. Inflame available if they so please. Soon enough, Heat Haze will be up there, but that's going to be good assert dominance. Going to be able to get the stun, but it's just not enough damage. Good control from the rest of the team, and with Rachel being able to, again, slip out with barely any life left, finally taken down there thanks to Random Noob's aggression. The payload might finally stall out, but 40 seconds left, and it's knocking on the doorstep.
Yeah, the daggers are most definitely coming through here. Of course, they're being able to watch that little high ground, the little elevated platform right there. Ares, of course, is still on the side. Hasn't really given up his pressure at all, but now they're going to start making their way towards him. Of course, 25 seconds on the clock at least. They have the Heat Haze up, but that's really the only thing, and they have Hexafire as well. Envy, the only ult they have close to being up is Enlightenment in this case, which that's going to be absolutely huge, especially if, if SSG actually want to end up closing out this round.
Planted going to come through, try to find some poke damage wherever he can. The tanks are on the side. Both going to be able to touch down, get overtime, waiting as long as they can just to make sure they don't take too much unnecessary damage as they try to look for the burn down. Trying to get rid of Rubu or Tolki. Either one is going to be a good start, but instead Rachel kind of taking the brunt of the damage to start this off.
Ares popped the Heat Haze to make sure that he can find the shots he needs uncontested. However, overtime is going down. They do get the kill on the Rachel. They get one onto Sadok. But at the same time, SSG still looking good. They've got the Inflame now. They don't have Heat Haze, but they've got the Inflame and they've got Hexafire. So they have two strong ultimates. They definitely have a chance to be able to win this next mid-fight.
Honestly think if Heat Haze... Oh, that was a beautiful
that was really
shot.
Good, actually. Yeah.
If Heat Haze was reverted to what it was before its current iteration, right, where he's not going to leave anything behind, he's not going to go out of stealth, you'll just be able to kind of run around. We might see a little bit more Shaolin jumping through, but the damage numbers kind of speak for themselves here. Not going to be top damage anymore, but 4-1-1 there for Ares. With an Inflame behind him, that 1,000 damage for a full charge shot or the 800 for planted all of a sudden starts to tick up, and I expect that's going to be a pretty big win condition for them around this next mid. 38,170
damage. Rock Monkey fights his way to the top of the damage charts in this case. And once again, Hexafire, Inflame, Overpower steadily coming. And at the same time, 4 ultimates are pretty much going to be up for Team Envy right now. Inflame actually ends up going out, so that way they can be as aggressive as they want to. Already on the back, had to use the Dome Shield to keep himself alive. Toki doesn't want to go down. 30% on the point for SSG. Of course, all the daggers, all the ultimates, everything is flying through with a double kill for a random noob. This is like a 1 mid fight for Envy.
I mean, already starting off perfectly well. 45% picked up for SSG, though, and with no comeback mechanic for either side, that does mean equal playing fields will play into this. They either need to stay aggressive or risk potentially losing the pressure that they have on the point. They will at least be able to surpass SSG, but around 80%, there should at least be a touch or a chance for overtime here if SSG can break through.
Yeah, they use the Midnight to try and find their way back in. Overpower actually ends up coming through as well. They do get it onto Rubu. Daggers are definitely coming through. A nice snipe coming out from FRZ God as well. He's throwing him out. He's trying to go in, and the nice movement coming out from him is going to allow him the ability to be able to dodge that enlightenment and continue putting those daggers on people that are unsuspecting.
And being able to find this, they're all just barely in there, but like you said, his movement pretty much spot on for what you would need. The read is very good as well. Knows exactly what Eevee would want to do in that scenario as a premier Eevee player. And so locks him down before he can even get the touch.
Good daggers once again from FRZ. They are being so aggressive, already allowing themselves to be this far up near their spawn, able to pretty much watch whatever it is they feel like. And FRZ in this case, of course, throwing out the daggers that he is finding his marks, and the rest of SSG are pretty much backing him up.
Random noob going down right there means that it's, I want to say, more likely for this payload, at least around this final corner that's coming up for them over here into this nice little open divot on Shattered Desert. But it's what they can do with that amount of pressure they're going to get that's going to make the big difference. I mean, Through Time and Space can easily eat through and burn down a couple of members here. And there's still a lot of damage on board. It depends on Random and Rock to show up.
Yeah, I mean, Rubu living with barely an inch of his health left. They do get the kill on a Sadak, though. Ares finds one on the random noob, so we're looking at a 1-for-1 trade here. Mr. Hayes, of course, just sitting pretty in this back line, not sweating too much, just keeping everybody juiced up, making sure everybody is healed, and of course giving them that Luminary buff to be able to win those one-on-one trades. However, Furia is definitely taking the healing by more than a landslide at this point.
I feel like I've seen more deaths on SSG while Inflame is active than when it's not. It's a very, very inverse of what you would expect to see with that. I mean, 30% move speed plus 30% damage, maybe being popped in inopportune times or maybe not being used to its full extent. But every time that comes up, Envy play a lot more carefully, and they've been able to burn down at least a tank throughout all of it. As they've been going forward right now, Rachao, the lowest one. Ares kind of trading places with him as his health bar drops down to nothing. And this has just been good, solid defense from Envy. Nothing insane, nothing stellar, just good target calling with good shots.
Yeah, Ares does end up dying. That very little, not necessarily the engagement, a little poke fest they had right there, but Random Noob is taken down by Rachao. Of course, he's just holding right here along with Sadak. Want to be able to push Toki all the way back. He has to drop the Dome Shield, doesn't want to go down. In this case, the Inflame comes out once again. They're biding their time since it came out a little bit so late. Dome Shield's going to be able to expire, but they're trading 1-for-1 right now. Rock Monkey's trying to get the kill, at least on the Ares, but he gets healed right back up to full. 2 frontliners are down. Rock Monkey trades himself out for Ares in this case. Sadak, Rachao, both of them find the kills they need. They get rid of Random Noob, and now we're looking at a 3-1 where SSG can end up taking it.
They've been controlling these mid-fights pretty well so far. That one was the only defensive point Envy have been able to get so far. So if they are able to do this, I mean, comeback mechanic enabled, which makes it a little slippery of a slope to stand on. But SSG have been solid so far in their play. Again, much more consistent from top to bottom. And a lot of aggression. I mean, that's one of the things this draft is bringing. Khan kind of being your main point tank in this case. Means you're playing, I think I said this a couple weeks ago, but as far as tanks go, this is about as close as you can get to quad DPS with still picking up 2 tanks onto your side. You are going to be able to get that Inflame up pretty soon here. Hayes is going to come through, but with an Overpower, that should be a free kill. A Hexafire in the right spot could be a free kill, and that means that SSG could potentially start this one up 3-5.
Yeah, already Random Noob, and of course the rest of Envy are watching out for those flanks, of course. wants to be able to fire shots when he needs to, but a good Hexafire, though. Enlightenment to try and counteract that one. Random Noob is going to find a shot on the Sadak. He is going to go down. Ruckus is gone, but the Hexfire came out. They were able to get the kill on the Rock Monkey. However, they're able to get 2 kills on the SSG in this case. Overpower. Rubu goes down, but this is still trading either or, and Envy's the one that comes out on top of this one.
Couple of good shots here. Could connect with Aries. Going to be able to slip out from under the nose of Envy there, under the nose of Random Noob as he backs off. Freeze God in a good position to potentially go in and try to get a touch. Shots are going to cause some trouble for him. And they're going to lock him down so he can't get back out.
Yeah, I mean, they do just pretty much blow him up immediately. Midtow gets a kill on a Random Noob. We got 2 kills already for SSG, but a double kill for Toki. Chow and the rest of them, they're able to follow up. That much is for sure. And they're able to actually end up winning this small little engagement right here.
That was the opposite of the Kinessa game. Aries with that Heat Haze helps win that fight, if not wins that fight, with the aggression from the rest of the team coming up for him. They help retake the point, but he is kind of a driving factor in all of that. Because now they're going to be coming in. Random Noob trying to do whatever he can to stall this out, but it's 99 to 99.
Yeah, I don't even know if they're going to be able to make it back. Ruben's got the shoulder bashes way in, but he shoulder bashes away from the point. No, I think he went on the side. I think he thought that Toki was going to be able to get to the point just in time, but he shoulder bashes just outside of the point. Doesn't get the touch.
Very well played from top to bottom in that last map for SSG. Some rough spots on Frozen Guard and on Serpent Beach for them, but they were able to predict Envy during that last one. Aries played very, very well on that Shaolin, as well as the fact that the Maeve, the aggression from the Maeve Ruckus, as well as the Con, like it all just came together and enveloped Envy in a way I think they weren't prepared for.
Yeah, I mean, we clearly saw the aggression they had throughout the set. SSG, of course, a little bit on Splitstone. We saw it in Midtown, too, him slithering his way in to be able to try and get a kill or at least get the damage onto the teammates. But at the same time, though, I mean, SSG, they've woken up. We saw them bring out the IO. We saw them bring out the Terminus. Like, they're more than ready at this point to have been adjusted to what's been going on in the league so far.
And, I mean, at this point, they have to still play catch-up in terms of the amount of games, but they've already caught up, at least in terms of meta, or at least it feels like it. We've seen them try out the IO and win with it, so I'm interested to see what else they might have in their pockets.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what they have coming out the rest of this split, too, as well. We're going to throw it right back to the desk, though, and we're going to have an interview.
Appreciate it very much, fellas. SSG able to grab their first win of Split 2, their 3rd win over Envy. If you look back at the start of Split 1, convincing performance from them. A little bit better from Envy as opposed to History, where they've usually been 4-1s, 4-2 this time around. Kresnik, I think this is a case of Envy getting their feet under them a little bit towards the middle games, but SSG were just playing too well today.
Yeah, they've definitely adapted to this meta. It took them a little while. It was kind of a little bit of a growth they had to have, but pulling out some stuff really unique for this. I mean, we saw IO earlier in Terminus, like they were saying, the casters were saying earlier, but I think they finally adapted the way they needed to for this last map, putting Aries on a champion he's a little more comfortable with, more of that standard backline, not a sniper, and it paid in dividends for them, I feel. They kind of had most of the fights in their control. Envy were kind of just machine gunning off ults, and it wasn't paying off.
Yeah, Envy just trying to backpedal. We mentioned, the casters mentioned pregame. I mean, this is just aggression from SSG and Envy trying to mitigate some of that. Aries on the Shaolin this time around had an on and off performance on the Kinessa on Serpent Beach, but this is a good bounce back from him. 70,000 damage, right up there in that 2-3 top damage in the game. 7 streak from him. And the Shaolin, we were wondering if it would pay off, and it certainly didn't.
It's definitely part of that spam all your ultimates aggressive strategy, right? Heat Haze plays into that. Yeah. It really adds a lot of damage on, very hard to pin down. And he was also taking, I noticed on some of the pushes, he was taking a lot of resources, and that really shows the trust across this team, right?
Right.
Even after maybe having a middling performance as the series was going on, they just put all the eggs in the Shaolin basket, saying, FRC will play in his own Aries. This is on you, man. We're going to give you as much Furia healing, as much pocket as you need. And it paid off. It brought them to the win in the end on the back of his good performance.
They called his name, and he stepped up to bat, knocked it out of the park. 3.1 KDA to round out that one. And I think this is an important win, not only just for the individual players, but SSG as a whole, as a team, finally kind of getting back into this split. You've had some really close ones, some not so close ones to start back off. They knew that coming back into the split starting late, they were maybe going to be behind the 8-ball a little bit, needed a little bit of extra time to adapt. Now they seemingly have really gotten into the flow of things. They still have another game today to maybe make it a 2-0 start.
And Kenga's a tough opponent too, I think, moving forward. They're a team that is really adapted to this, so we're going to have to kind of put to the test how their drafting looks in this meta, but shifting after not scrimming for 2 weeks to a whole new, array of champions and things you want to play, I think is a very good look for SSG.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do throughout the rest of the day. Sadak and Aries, two guys who had a big performance today, and wouldn't you guess it, we got them standing by for an interview.
Welcome in, guys. Absolutely amazing time, amazing set that you guys were actually able to clutch out there. But I'm going to bring up this question just to open things up, of course. We saw the Terminus. We saw the IO. You guys clearly have had a little bit of time. Like, at first, you guys were, struggling, but you guys mentioned the fact that, it's been a while since you guys played. Have you guys feel like those picks, it seems like you've adjusted to the meta a little bit. Are you guys, like, slowly getting back into the groove, or what made you decide those characters to try and draft?
We decided that we had to try new things, because everybody was evolving and we stand back a little bit. So we started training like so much. And then we're just trying everything right now. So we had to change something, So there's Terminus coming, IO coming. You are ready for anything right now.
So I want to know, Aries, specifically for you, Serpent Beach, the Kinessa, we'll call that one a rough game going into Shaolin, where you were one of the driving factors that led to the 4-1 win. What changed between the games? Was it just the champion, the comfort, or was there anything kind of mentally that you were able to do to help prepare for that?
I don't know. To be honest, I was more comfortable on Esa than on Shaolin because I practiced like during the week so much Kinessa, but didn't work out. It happens, Yeah. And Shaolin, they just said, "Oh, Shaolin,
you're gonna play Shaolin right now." Okay.
FSD asking me like, "You wanna play Maeve?" It's okay. I'm gonna play Sha.
Well, you still have another set to play today, but you're one of the few teams, actually the only team, that has really had to experience this kind of, like, I want to say gauntlet that you've run through at the end of each split. So how do you feel, I guess, like, knowing, like, you get your win out for today, you feeling more confident to play later?
Oh, yeah, for sure, because everything we practice, it's working out, so we're really prepared for the next match.
Any eyes on Frozen Garden, Serpent Beach for later, or are those going to maybe be some map bans?
That's a secret strategy.
Secret strategy.
Yes.
Well, good luck to you in your set later, but congratulations on your set for now on the win, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Now, powering the control room for the Paladins Premier League.